Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Good Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but hey, if you do, we got you covered. All 3 hours are posted upon the conclusion every evening. So we finish up the show, post it, and you can go back and listen at your leisure, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. Follow along on YouTube if you want to watch the show. ESPN Tallahassee is there. Hello. Thanks for watching, YouTubers. Want to email the program, feel free. Fire away. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. You can use the WTSM app as well. We're caught up. It's a lot of stuff, man. Well, this was eventful. The weekend that was kind of concluded, if you will, with Florida State's scrimmage yesterday evening. And you can look at the quotes from Jimbo Fisher. You can listen to what he said. You can read between the lines. And you can also glean from, over the last 3 or 4 days, certain trends and try to get a better feeling for what's happening there. Certainly, I do my due diligence and call around and try to utilize sources to bring context and more information on this show on a daily basis. And some of that context and information sounds like this. At first, I'm sure there's a eye-opening moment for all of you when you find out that Derek Kelly is manning the left side. Tom, I saw your face when that news came out, and you thought, you thought what? Let's see if it's representative of the fan base as a whole.
Okay, I'll give you the...
give me the whole lowdown. I want to know where from which it originates, huh?
It originates from spring football, in which we were told that one of the young guns, either Josh Ball or Juwan Williams, was going to be our left tackle.
That's right. We were told that.
Okay. Then we get to fall camp, and I hear that Rick Leonard was going to be the left tackle all along or some such thing. He's really improved in that position, and I thought, well, summer workouts must have been unbelievable for that right tackle, left tackle switch.
Without pads at all.
And now it's Derek Kelly, who seemed to me, in at least the last season, was more of a reserve, a depth reserve, than he was, a go-to guy. So I have a concern here. It's not necessarily about center anymore. I'm saying, oh, wait a minute. What does our tackle depth chart look like? And Derek Kelly all of a sudden is going to be our starting left tackle. I know we got a couple weeks to go, but okay, this is our concern now, dude.
Still an open competition. That competition featuring Derek Kelly and Josh Ball, the aforementioned Josh Ball. Derek Kelly has emerged and played very well in camp. So to maybe allay some of your fears, let me just say this. If you go back, let's look at Derek Kelly's time as a Seminole. He's a guy that, frankly, a redshirt junior, you have to go back 2 years for. As a redshirt freshman, he's pretty good. And we liked where he was headed from a career standpoint, what he could provide, and what we thought he would be. Had a knee injury, has struggled a little bit with it. Some people, depending on the severity and the location of an injury, can take longer to come back than others. Certainly we know that to be true. And that has somewhat happened with him, but it appears now that for the first time in a long time, he is fully healthy and performing at the same sort of level he was performing at, or certainly the trajectory his redshirt freshman year. So the reports I get is that he's been largely improved, as opposed to a default, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Nobody can play this position. Let's just throw him there. It's a little mixture of a few things. That's not a job that has been a job that Rick Leonard has been able to take control of. They moved him back over on the right side where he's comfortable. The competition has been opened up, and you get more of that now with Derek Kelly and Josh Ball. And Derek Kelly right now has been the most consistent of any of the guys. It's still open for competition. It's not a done deal. But it's not because they've got nothing. It's because he's played well and has warranted those reps. Again, we're going to have to kind of take the word of many that are over there on a daily basis, and some of which, have a little bit more insight in this situation. But that's encouraging news, because we actually did let's not forget, a couple years ago, we liked where Derek Kelly was headed from a career standpoint. He looked like he was going to be a player.
Yeah, he was a pleasant surprise. And to me, again, I just think the concern comes from, you had a couple of names when we were looking at position previews heading into fall camp that were candidates for the left tackle position. And the two primary people we've heard of that are playing left tackle with the first team so far in camp are neither of the two names we thought we were going to hear as we entered fall camp. So at least from the outside, and we can't watch practice except for the open one that we saw, and Derek Kelly was playing right tackle for Florida State in the open practice that we saw with the first team. We can't know if he's taking the position by storm. You know what I mean?
Can't know.
You can't know those things.
Got to trust that what Rick Trickett is seeing is something that he's really excited about and that Kelly's kicking down the door. Because you can't know that, and the rest is just speculation. I do know this. He's 6'5", 325. It's not like this is a smallish guy being asked to do more than, I guess, what physical attributes would suggest he could.
The thing is, and maybe we were setting expectations too high for the younger players, but they were the ones that worked at left tackle in spring. When you expect to hear a couple of names, and then you don't hear either of those names, and you hear a candidate that we thought was entrenched on the right side, followed by somebody who was a depth reserve last year, a pleasant surprise in 2015, and that depth reserve was a guard, too. You know, Kelly worked at left guard a little bit. I know he worked at right tackle. He and Rubel were trading places, but it feels like they're scrambling to find something.
And
I get that might not be fair.
Well, and we won't know. We got time, and that's what these camps are for, right? As of right now, this is the way it would be. It would be Derek Kelly at left tackle. It'd be Landon Dickerson at left guard. Your center would be Alec Eberle. Your right tackle would be Leonard. And your right guard would be Minshew, who missed the scrimmage due to an injury of some kind. He's being held out, precautionary reasons. Jimbo thinks he'll be back. When Minshew's healthy, this is the thing that they have said all along, and you can kind of read between the lines. They like him a lot. They think he's got a chance to be very, very good. But the healthy part of that equation has been lacking. Landon Dickerson's a star. He's a star in the making. You know I've loved that kid from the Jump Street, and he is healthy again, strong. If you go by reports over there, he's been a beast, and he's going to move to the left side. What you're talking about is a tandem possibly of two really talented up-and-coming guards with maybe adequate play at tackle. And I don't know what we're going to get. This is my opinion now. I just don't know what we're going to get out of Alec Eberle. It is entirely possible that Eberle played all of last year, and there's certainly an element of truth to this, regardless to the extent. It's entirely possible that Alec Eberle played really hurt last year and struggled from a strength standpoint because he couldn't do a lot in the weight room. And obviously flexibility, he didn't have any, couldn't bend, couldn't move, and got abused at times. He just wasn't very good at times. We may see a huge uptick in his level of play, and it may still only be serviceable. He may not be an elite player. But if you get serviceable play from the center position, and you have an emerging star at one of the guard positions in Landon Dickerson, and if I think Minshew is healthy, you've got a guard tandem that's very good, and then maybe you're just okay at the tackle spot. We'll see. I'm excited for Derek Kelly, who, again, is coming off of an injury, and it's taken him some time. If he's back healthy and back on that proper trajectory that he was as a redshirt freshman, then maybe you're really surprised by what you get out of him. Because you're right, he wasn't a name that was considered, at the start of camp this year as a possibility at left tackle.
I thought maybe when Leonard was named as the starting left tackle, that was more of an opening press conference ploy to tell the young kids, hey, nothing is assured. Your spot at left tackle, you may have thought you were the primary two competing. Nothing is assured here. I sure would like to hear that they're at least working in with the first team because, again, just from an expectation standpoint, this is kind of a shell-shocking thing. Minshew, his demeanor is great. The size you can't teach. He was a little uneven last year, too. You got to see some growth out of him, some serious growth and consistency. It just feels like this might be a bit of a house of cards built on a lot of ifs. But then again, when is it not? When you have something that's unproven, when is it not in preseason and you can't see scrimmages or preseason games like you do in the NFL?
That's true.
When is it not going to be a house of cards built on a bunch of ifs? It's just that we know for a fact that in September, the primary problem that we're going to face is defensive line play from the opponent.
One thing, though, to mention, and I think it's really especially true of offensive line, that is a position that takes time. You don't see too many freshmen, redshirt freshmen, out there contributing in an even, you talked about he was a little uneven. Most of them are if they're asked to play that early. That's a position in the interior, especially where you're talking about grown-ass men. That's why we don't assume freshmen are going to come in and play on the defensive line, because you typically have guys that have been in a system for 2 and 3 years minimum before they get out there, unless they're a freak of nature, because of the amount of strength that you can add and weight that you can add and good muscle that you can add coming from a high school program to a college program. It's a must. You can come in as a skill position player, as a true freshman, and contribute as a DB, as a wide receiver, as a running back, sometimes even in today's football as a linebacker, believe it or not. But it is especially hard to be consistently good if you're being asked to contribute on the offensive and defensive lines, especially in the interior, as a redshirt freshman. Minshew was a redshirt freshman a year ago.
Well, and I think it's also important to point out, without being an apologist, but it's important to point out that what Florida State saw from a defensive line standpoint last year, in 2016, they saw week after week really good defensive line play.
And they will again this year.
They will again this year, but from a growth standpoint. So, for players like a Minshew or an Eberle, or even a Dickerson before he was hurt in his first, foray in college football.
Come a long way, yeah. Quickly,
you have to.
Thrown into the fire, man.
You have no choice. So you got something to fall back on from an experience standpoint this year, saying, I've seen the best. I played against the best. Did they make me look like a fool sometimes? Absolutely they did. But you know what? They had experience. Those were juniors and seniors that I was going against, and now it's my turn. So all at once you can be a little bit optimistic saying that we've seen the best with a lot of these offensive linemen, even Derek Kelly. They've seen a lot and been exposed to a lot of talent. But the question is, what other position group makes you feel up against it more than offensive line? I don't think there is one. If the fans are feeling concerned, if there's urgency in my voice, it's just because, wow, this sounds like patchwork. Maybe it isn't, but it just sounds and feels like a bit of a patchwork situation at left tackle.
Well, we'll have to see, and luckily there's still plenty of time here in camp, another couple of weeks to get that ironed out. I actually think the offensive line is going to be serviceable. It's a question of whether or not they can be very good. If you're trying to get to a playoff, and the expectation when your top 5 team is exactly that, then you need them to be more than okay. You need them to be good. They could get to good. How quickly can they get to good? I think there's talent there, and that's the other thing is that we talk about being thrown into the fire. You get Alabama right off the bat. In addition to the fact that, you've got Miami and NC State. So they've got to find a way to play pretty well pretty quickly.
And one of the elephants in the room, thrown into the fire, who are they going against when it's good on good in practice every day?
And that's the big part of what we're talking about with a scrimmage like this, because I want to segue to that. The defense dominated the scrimmage. And I know Fisher said it was some good, some bad. It was mostly bad for the offense. This was a day in which the quarterback was a little uneven, pretty inconsistent, yet your top 3 receivers are good. They're playing well, especially Keith Gavin and Auden Tate are playing very well. I think you're loaded in the backfield. You're going to get really solid play out of the tight ends. We know that Izzo is especially good. And that continues to be the case. So nothing new there. You've got some guys that are dependable that you feel pretty good about. I'll tell you what, it's really exciting when you hear the way that they talk about Terry. I don't know how much he impacts this team this year because it's awfully hard for freshman receivers, especially if they're not early enrollees, to have a chance to kind of have what they need down. But he's a talent. He's a physical talent. I like the consistency that I'm hearing about in practice about Auden Tate. He catches everything right now. We talked about that during the open scrimmage, practice that we saw. He looked more polished than he had in the past.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that because I also talked to him on the side during media day, and everything about his demeanor screams, we have an answer.
He's buttoned up here. Yeah.
That segment needed somebody to kind of get everybody in line and then always show up every day. He strikes me as that type from a speaking to him standpoint, and then to see later in the day the open practice, I thought, okay, it looks like he's going to be Mr. Reliable. We'll see. We'll see what happens when their side adjusts and the real bullets are flying. But it just seems to me, based upon the way he sounds, he's comfortable in his own skin in this offense now that he's approaching upperclassman status.
So the things that you needed to see from receivers and from your running backs, Amir Rasul continues to impress. Jaquez Patrick continues to impress. By the way, Patrick is a guy that I think we've all come into this season sort of rooting for in a way. He's done what Coach Fisher has asked him to do, running with a little bit more toughness and consistency. Not so far out over his feet as he was, off balance early in his career, which I talked about ad nauseum probably. Bothered me just to watch that. But nonetheless, He's a guy who runs behind his pads now, and he's in better shape than he's ever been. Not that he's ever been in bad shape, but he's in really good shape this year. That was evident to anybody that saw him on media day. And so far in camp, word is he's running strong. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe not all wrong. Maybe I'm a little bit more wrong than I would have liked to have admitted here to start the day. But I think he's going to get a lot of carries against Alabama, and I guess I was suspect of that. So there's that. Defensively, what I'm most intrigued by is this situation with Matthew Thomas. Now, let's just get straight to it. He has been missing practices. Coach Fisher says that everybody that's missed practice, it could be anybody. It could be, a starter or a second stringer, doesn't matter.
Vickers was out, too.
Yeah, Vickers has been out. There have been a lot of guys that have, not a lot, but some guys that have missed time. And Coach Fisher said in the post-scrimmage press conference on Sunday evening that anybody that was missing, whether that's due to injury or illness or anything else that we might not know about, are going to be back this week, that everything should be A-okay. All right, so any speculation that we might engage in regarding Matthew Thomas, and listen, to be sure, that speculation is understandable. This is a kid that has had trouble staying eligible, staying on the football field, whether it's suspensions for recreational activity or
a violation of team rules.
Right. And we know that that's a guy whose name was whispered and has been throughout his time at FSU as having a tough go in the classroom, perhaps, So the point would be that he's a guy that's on everybody's radar. Everybody you worry about it when he doesn't practice. He's also had injuries. So
that's why he was named the unicorn.
Right. So between injuries and off the field stuff, he's a guy that when you don't see him out there for a prolonged period of time, speculation begins to run rampant. Again, Coach Fisher says whoever missed the scrimmage and who has missed practice up to this point, everybody's in good standing as far as we know, and that they'll be back this week or early next, I suppose. And all you can do since practice is closed is to take his word for that. And there's no other way to say that. Now, I know what the rumors are. The rumors are that he's ineligible, that he's got an academic issue. Well, those are the rumors. They're out there. They're out there every week. You get that with a number of players. We all do. But Coach Fisher has not directly addressed that and spoken to that. All he has said is that anybody that's missed time is going to be back next week. That's this week. So I don't know what else to say about that other than let's wait and see if he returns to practice because it's important. He's kind of an important player, and he began to play well at the end of last year. And I'd like to have that talent and depth available heading into the Alabama game at that position. It's not that they don't have other guys, but as the year wears on, in the war of attrition that is football, if you lose another linebacker in a position where you're not incredibly deep, that would be disconcerting. And also, I think, going into a money year, which is what he's doing, you would expect to get the best out of him. So I wish it for him and for the team that he be back and able to play.
Get well soon, Just get healthy. Everybody needs to get healthy.
One thing's for sure, the secondary is loaded, and we don't have to worry right now about that position in terms of talent and depth and options. And they like a lot of options. When they go to that 4-2-5, they want to have a lot of options and, to face different kinds of teams. They want to be able to kind of mix and match their formations there, and they've got guys that can do so much. You've got some of the people on the back end are real physical, like Trey Marshall and obviously Derwin James, and you can move them towards the line of scrimmage against run-heavy teams. And then some of these teams, obviously, that want to spread you out and go down the field, you're going to need more fleet-of-foot guys that can really cover in space. So they've got options there, including emerging freshmen. It's amazing to listen to them talk about how quickly a couple of guys in particular have come in here and gotten acclimated and look like they're well beyond their years. So what do you say about all of that before we go to break and address some of the other things that happened over the weekend with preseason football and, of course, the PGA Championship crowned a new major winner, and then we've got items out of the NFL and college football in general. But what I would say is this. This is the time of year. It's the 14th. We're rapidly approaching the start of the football season, where your focus and intensity of fandom and your radar, it's all locked in now. We're all football all the time in our minds as avid fans of the program, of the game, and we're listening for the whispers and everything in between. It's normal for a defense to dominate a first scrimmage, so I'm not concerned to hear that. It's normal for the defense to be ahead of the offense in general. That's fine. it's normal for any little whisper of a potential problem to rise to the level of a bullhorn. But I also know that we have to kind of take a step back. Let's see what this week provides. This is a big week.
It is a big week, and yeah, I feel the urgency and the concerns. I feel up against it. I feel like I need a fest, sir, of libations where I can kick
maybe
back.
A get-together for friends of the program over the years where we could maybe all gather as one and participate in both a discussion of all things college football, pro football, sports in general, but also perhaps a tasty beverage or two.
Wouldn't that be nice?
How about on the 25th of August we do just that with this is now the 6th annual Listener Appreciation Party, also known as Libations Friday Fest, to be announced right here, right now. The 25th is a Friday of this month, August the 25th at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We will be there. It begins at 6. Hopefully you'll be there. As has been the case over the last 6 years, we have doled out the wonderful shirts from our friends at Full Press Apparel, which document the occasion. And usually there are plenty of prizes and or gifts to be handed out alike. And we'll do that again this year and announce more as we have those trickle in from our sponsors. But a reminder, August the 25th, that's a Friday, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill beginning at 6 o'clock. The 6th annual Listener Appreciation Party will take place, and that's also a glorious Libations Friday Fest. So join us, won't you please? Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Versus so many top golf cart brands with an enormous selection all under one roof.
TNT Supercenter customers can compare the top golf cart brands side by side. Bud Car, Yamaha, Star EV, and the ultimate hunting vehicle to beat. TNT Supercenter has the largest selection of carts in the area. Pre-owned carts starting at just $19.99. New carts with a 4-year warranty starting at just $49.99. And at TNT, our service center and service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing cart with a full line of Mad Jack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all of Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Are you wanting to raise some extra cash fast? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need to clean out that garage full of stuff you never use? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need a newer car or truck and don't want to break the bank? Think Thrifty Nickel. Buying or selling, your best bet is Thrifty Nickel. All ads appear in print and online for maximum results. Place your ad today and ask for their guaranteed results special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl because we're the
Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers.
Hey, watch
Houston Oilers all the way.
Jeff, I will fight you.
Houston Oilers. That's their song. Why
No. First of all, they never went to a Super Bowl. It's our song. We're the only undefeated team.
Oh,
we're the only one that takes the ball goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
You and the rest of Miami holding on to the past, my friend. But you know what? September the 10th, it's on. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Not a chance. You know what that first loss feels like every year because you've never gone undefeated.
Houston Oilers.
All right, let's go. Dry-aged ribeye steaks. What do you say?
I'm in. Let's bet.
It's on.
Is Bumpa's going to be open yet?
Shh, Jeff. They don't know about that one yet.
It's coming soon. All right, Bucks.
Let's go fish.
Good times. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And it's amazing how they target us these days, right? I know we're all aware of it, but every now and then you're reminded of it. The internet always does that for you. So I like to use a certain kind of body wash, Tom, when I'm showering. And I've used this body wash for some time now. I enjoy it. And I decided to branch out and try for the first time over the weekend a different brand of body wash.
The Axe chocolate brand?
No, didn't use that. Didn't know that existed. So what I did was I said, I'm going to give this here brand a try. I've seen the advertisement. It seems to be working on me. So I'm gonna give it a go. And I did. I purchased it over the weekend. I flipped open my computer this morning at 6 a.m. I was sitting down with my coffee, ready to start my day, and the first damn ad I got was for that brand that I have never had pop up before ever on my computer. So me using my ATM card to swipe when I paid for my groceries, which included this particular brand of body wash, has now alerted them that, hey, let's remind him how great that body wash he just purchased is.
I'm reminded of how much they, quote unquote, know about us.
Sure.
You know, upstairs in my room, the television system is hooked up to the Xbox, which is hooked up to the Cortana system, which is the voice activation. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. You can ask it to change the channel. It's kind of like your, sure, Xfinity voice remote.
I got you right.
But it's got a red light on when it's listening to you.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And the red light is always
like
on.
Hal.
Exactly. Yeah.
A little spooky.
And the red light is always on, and you could make a little bit out of it. I'll be laying in the bed.
The red light is always on?
If the system's on, yeah.
I was gonna say
not if the system's
going on with the red light always been on.
Yeah, but it's on, and so the TV, and so it's got the white Xbox light, and then it's got that red light.
You know, it doesn't have to be on for them to listen.
Oh well, of course not.
No,
of course not.
Yeah.
But
that's just a nice reminder.
But I stare at that thing. I'm like, you could do it. You know, where you just cut back and forth. It zooms in even more to each side. It bugs me a little bit.
Did you say that is in your bedroom?
Yeah.
They're watching and listening, buddy.
You should move the Cortana system downstairs.
Yeah, you should move the Cortana system is what it sounds like to me. Somebody's in a base far, far away going, hey, fellas.
I have no...
Friday night, it's getting late. I think they've had a couple of drinks.
I have no desire to run for even city council, sir, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
The University of Florida has suspended 7 players for its season opener against Michigan, including Antonio Callaway, who has now been suspended 36 times for making improper charges on their student IDs at the school's bookstore and then selling those items for cash. University officials confirmed to ESPN on Sunday. One source said the cards did not have the proper amount of funds to purchase the items. The other suspended players are offensive lineman Kadeem Telfort, linebackers James Houston and Ventrell Miller, defensive lineman Jordan Smith, Richard Desir-Jones, and Kavonis Davis. So that's that. Michigan 3:30 Eastern Time, ABC, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Michigan, September the 2nd. 7 guys out. Quote from Jim McElwain: "We have a small group of players that have made some choices that are extremely disappointing. Though we did not elaborate on the reasons for the suspensions, action has been taken. They have missed some practice and will miss the Michigan game. We will use this as a learning opportunity." How many learning opportunities does Mr. Callaway get?
World needs plenty of bartenders.
This is not the first time that he has faced suspension during his time at Florida. He was suspended last spring amid sexual assault allegations. Callaway was accused of sexual assault in December of 2015, testified that he was high on marijuana during the incident and was so stoned that he couldn't have had sex. Callaway was later charged and cleared during his hearing in August 2016, was reinstated to the team. In May, he was cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession after officers smelled weed in a vehicle which was driven by a man named Kendrick Williams, who's 40 years old and allegedly a known drug dealer. Callaway was a passenger in his car. Officers found 7 grams of marijuana in his pocket during the search, and they claimed the ownership of the drugs. Prosecutors decided to drop the charges as part of the plea deal, and now this latest incident for Mr. Callaway,
who's a good player, and clearly he's been a good player in practice too, because, you know, they're sticking with him. They're sticking with him. He'll probably play a good portion of the SEC season unless something else comes up.
But this is tough, and all jokes aside, which, by the way, my favorite one ever was the, listen, man, I know what you think I did on that night, but I was so stoned it couldn't have happened. That's an interesting plea. That said, 7 players suspended for the Michigan game, including their number 1 weapon in Callaway, is a bit of a hiccup, to say the least, and also a rather ominous start. Look, no program is devoid of these kinds of problems, and it frustrates fans to no end. And I learned a long time ago to not be the guy that's throwing stones in glass houses. When we cover college football, whether it's in our own backyard with Florida State or anybody else in this state or in the region, we know that this is a almost bi-monthly at the very least situation where you read a story that a player gets in trouble at school A or school B. And it's just a matter of time before it comes back around to you, right? We just had it happen with Devontae Phillips, who's been suspended. So okay. But Callaway's been a persistent problem, and their offense has had all kinds of trouble. They've had inconsistencies, to say the least, on that side of the ball, and now you lose a lineman as well. McElwain obviously has got to get this offense going, and he's got to have the confidence of the fan base, which, despite winning back-to-back East Division titles of the SEC, I don't think is brimming with confidence in the job that he's done. I think this is a big year for him, to say the least. Quite the understatement. This isn't a good way to start the upcoming campaign.
No, it's not. And Ghost Pepper Nate asked me on Twitter yesterday, and I totally agree with him. Hasn't Callaway been there since before Nate Andrews was at Florida State? I mean, was he playing with Trey Burton and Jordan Reed? I really feel like Callaway has been there since that 2010 game when we finally took the rivalry back by storm.
He joined the University of Florida in the same year as Riedel Anthony. Jacquez Green.
Remember when Riedel was good for like 6 or 10 games?
Yes.
I mean, in the pros with the Bucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brief.
Yeah, it was brief.
Brief. That said, maybe he can get some mentorship from Eric Rett, who arrived at the same time that he did as well. Yes,
a peer,
yeah,
a trusted peer.
It's a toughie. I don't know. I just know that that's not the news you want if you're a Florida fan. But that did happen over the weekend. So 7 suspended for Florida against Michigan. And the other thing that happened over the weekend before we go to break is a not so shocking development out of Tampa, where Roberto Aguayo was told to have a good day by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after he missed another extra point, and then was sent back out there late in the game for a meaningless field goal that was going to have no impact on the contest. But quite clearly, the moment that he was told to trot out there and attempt said field goal, we all knew the job was on the line. Can you imagine kicking what appears on the surface to be an absolutely meaningless field goal in a preseason game, that is to say an exhibition game, that will have no impact on the final outcome of said preseason game, but yet all the while knowing as you trot onto the field of play, this kick will determine whether or not I still have a job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because anybody who watched that game, and I did sadly from very start to the bitter end, knew that that bastard had better make that kick or the time was nigh. And I almost texted you when they sent him out there. I went, oh, that is cold-blooded to send a kid out there to kick this knowing. That is the code for, better make this kick. And everybody knew it. And it's all washed across his face as he stepped onto the field. And as soon as it left his foot and you see it begin to fade, you go, he just lost his job.
Oh, yeah. It's the Dark Knight, man. 2 henchmen on the ground. The Joker just took over the pool hall, and there's a 1 pool cue, and he goes, make it fast. There it is.
It's just...
Are you going to get the pool cue, or are you going to receive the pool cue in your ribs?
It's amazing because my dad was in town this weekend, and we were watching that game together. And I said, oh, no, we're about to watch this guy either hang on to his job by the thinnest of margins, or we're going to watch the moment he just lost his job. That's what's on the line here. A lot at stake for a silly first preseason game.
You know what's going to happen in Chicago?
He's going to go 20 for 20, and yeah.
He's going to start aligning it down the middle on the extra points, and he's going to make them all.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if that quick a turnaround will help or hurt him, but as I tweeted out over the weekend, we do know this. This is not physical. It is all mental. He needs the best possible sports psychiatrist because this is a kid who can be incredible. In fact, one of the greats to ever play in college football was indeed Roberto Aguayo at that position. But it has been a nightmare since he was drafted in the 2nd round. And I dare say this, this isn't a second guess. You know, I was dead set against that draft pick. Hated it, still hate it, somewhat angry about it even now.
I think you made it clear within 3 seconds of his name appearing on the television
I couldn't
screen.
believe that they would do that they would waste a pick on a kicker like that. They're all head cases. You can't be sure. And I know what's happened with Sebastian Janikowski is the thing that people fall back on. They are 2 different characters in terms of their mental makeup in a lot of ways, and I won't get into all of that. But the other part of that is even that pick by the Raiders was dumb. It's not what you do. It worked out. That's the only difference. It worked out. It was a dumb pick. They shouldn't have done it. I know when it works out, it's easy to go back and say, oh, well, the Raiders did it, and that was a smart move. No, it wasn't a smart move at the time. It just happened to work out. You don't do that with kickers. But I especially don't do it with a kicker who I thought, by the way, his senior year or his final year here was a little shaky. I know he was 20 of 26, 21 of 26, something like that, if memory serves. But many of those were shaky. You and I had this conversation. You
look at from 40 and beyond or 40
to
49.
He struggled, yeah.
His last 2 seasons here, they weren't great.
No.
They weren't best of all time in college football history. Great.
No, and it's just, I mean, you add that pressure, you got to get off to a lightning fast start. You got to come in making kicks. You got to almost ensure that the fan base and those paying such close attention to you don't have reason to doubt. The second you give them an opportunity, it's going to be written about, talked about, certainly scrutinized, and it has been, and I think it begins to mount.
Thanks for 2013, and thank you so much for that kick against Miami on the road in 2014, because if you missed that, we lose the football game.
Well, no, and listen, this is, you remove all allegiances aside about where a kid played in college once they go pro. I mean, the pros is where you embrace kids who played at Miami and Florida and every other school under the sun, and they embrace your guys just like you embrace theirs because you're unified up there. It doesn't matter. He was great here, by and large, one of the all-time greats, in fact, statistically speaking. Useless in Tampa, cost us games a year ago. It was a bad pick. Jason Light admitted to it over the weekend when he cut him. And now, the situation is that Nick Folk's gonna have to do the job. We'll see.
It was the damnedest thing in 2013, though. I mean, everything was dead down the middle.
Oh, he was. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody better at their job for a stretch of time than he was.
He would have split the uprights in the Arena League.
It was crazy.
It would have
You're
been
right.
dead down the middle.
Well, and that's what we're talking about with even the kicks made, which were a high percentage in his final season. But a lot of those were sneaking in through the right upright or the left upright. And early on, I remember we were sitting next to each other, and I said, man, I'm not going to complain about made kicks. But we're so spoiled from a year ago where everything was right down the heart. I feel like he's a little off right now. And that started the speculation where we're beginning to wonder about, where this was going.
By the standard, absolutely.
Yeah,
he had a couple that banked in, too, if I recall. There was the Boston College home game in 2014. I think one of them banked.
Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. But it does seem like it's awfully hard to believe that you can go to a place with as much wind as Chicago has and weather that they'll have during the regular season if he were to somehow get that job. And foresee him being successful. Maybe the expectations are so diminished that it frees him mentally to go out and physically do what we know he can. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MP46050.
If you haven't stopped into Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney. Hey, it's me, Marissa. Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the Fourth Quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the Fourth Quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the Fourth Quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the Fourth Quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Attention Pitmasters, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in 7th Hill Tap Room are partnering up to host an amateur barbecue cook-off and local craft beer fest Saturday, August the 19th from 2 to 10 p.m. For a $40 entry fee, you can enter any or all 4 barbecue categories. That's Boston butt, chicken, pork ribs, and specialties, with the winner in each category taking home a $100 gift card redeemable at either Corner Pocket or 7th Hill Tap Room. Think you're Tallahassee's Pitmaster Supreme? Enter today. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill 7th Hill Tap Room Amateur Barbecue Cook-Off, August 19th from 2 to 10 p.m.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott set to officially appeal his 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy tomorrow. The Star-Telegram reporting Elliott's reps will argue the testimony given by his ex-girlfriend to the league was dishonest and that she made a number of threats to ruin his career. Injured Jags running back Leonard Fournette and receiver Marquise Lee won't play in Thursday's preseason game. Falcons running back Devontae Freeman is in the concussion protocol. He's been ruled out for Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Tennis, Roger Federer with a back injury will not play in the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. He said his priority is to be fit before the U.S. Open starts in 2 weeks.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
$25 gift certificate code to Garnet and Gold, the top provider of FSU's apparel and merchandise, is what you're going to get, along with a whole bunch of other stuff I'm going to tell you about right now. For signing up for the annual War Chant subscription, do it. It's the last day. Let's make it happen before midnight, all right? A members-only warchant.com t-shirt shipped free to your home. Members-only 16-ounce stainless steel warchant.com tumbler shipped free to your home. 6 free months added to your annual subscription. Subscribers will also get a 10% discount to purchases made, I should say, at Garnet & Gold, either online or in the store. Greatly reduced ads throughout the site and forums. That's what you're going to want to do here. Free warchant.com items at promotional events, too. New subscriber, this is what's going on. Sign up for your annual warchant.com subscription and use the promo code Knowles2017. That's the promo code Knowles2017. There you go. And also, by the way, you should know this. Previously canceled or lapsed subscribers, sign back into your account. Use this link to resubscribe and get in on the kickoff special promo. Surprise or limited. Promotion ends at midnight tonight. Let's make it happen.
Midnight tonight. Go to warchant.com. It's right there at the top. And, that members-only T-shirt has sayings that you'll find commonly on the message board community, one of which right now, maybe they should add this late, is, so what the hell's going on with MT6? Where's Matthew Thomas? You addressed that earlier in the hour.
I did. That's what I do.
That's a hot button topic.
I address these concerns. That's a terribly difficult cold he's trying to get over, Tom.
Get well soon. Get well soon.
Yeah. These things can sneak up on you. It can be tough. You know, you get these summer colds.
It's going through the offices. Jimbo said they're down a secretary over there right now.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said late last week during practice.
Jameis looked great in the opening series. His reps were well played. He's never thrown the fade well down there inside the 5. Not his favorite throw to make. He didn't throw that well when they got inside the red zone after driving 90-plus yards. I think it's by law the Bucs have to begin every drive from inside their 10 with some sort of cataclysmic mistake made by special teams, especially to start games. But he looked sharp and looked good. And then from there, I'll note that I hated the play calling inside the 5. Run the football. You're going to score there, but nonetheless.
Boy, oh boy. It's a little bit different watching this offense. I get it's the first preseason game, and they're running vanilla coverages. It may be some stuff that Jameis saw when he was in high school. That's what Cincinnati was running for this particular game. However, what a difference it makes when you have weapons across the field. Couldn't you already see the difference? He's throwing to guys that are a little bit more open because defenses have to account for Deshaun Jackson and Cam Brate on top of his superstar receiver Mike Evans. And then they run double tight sets out there. O.J. Howard didn't get a target when Jameis was in the game. But there's just so much to have to consider. And now he's going through his progressions, and it looks like dudes are wide open all the time.
Woo-hoo.
I get it. It was one preseason
one game.
Yeah.
But I was scheming.
I enjoyed the hell out of that glorified practice. It was nice to see.
Well, one thing, though, the NFL should take note of, and that is to say NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, you got to shorten the preseason. These coaches are basically double middle fingering the fans and the league itself with the amount or lack thereof of time that they throw their starters out there for these first couple of games. They just don't. I mean, you had some games this week, and the Cowboys got 5 preseason games this year, and Jason Garrett said you can go to hell with all that. I mean, he hasn't played a single guy that makes any difference at all for the Cowboys. He's like, I'm not playing anybody. And you see it across the board. You got guys making 3 snaps. Or taking 3 snaps for it. Just get rid of one of the preseason games. Just do it.
Can't do it. Got to pay full price for admission, buddy.
Screwing people for your season tickets by making them pay full price for exhibition games, many of which will not see a single starter on the field for a snap, is criminal.
2 things that have to happen every single year. Number 1, full price of admission for 2 home games that you have to pay for when you get season tickets. Number 2, you're going to London. Everybody's going to London. We're going to play in London. These are the 2 most important things every year that the NFL needs to accomplish. And they're doing a great job. That's sarcasm.
I know. It's tough. By the way, I was looking at some of the injury reports because this is what you do. And you and I have that NFL Game Day package where you go back and watch the condensed versions of these preseason games. And admittedly, as it moves forward, I'll watch more of them. I'm not watching all these preseason games, I'll be honest with you.
No, week 2, week 3 will be nice.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. But what I was going to tell you, though, real quick, Tom, is that the Baltimore Ravens have had like 9 injuries already this year. I mean, like guys that are just done. They've played like 6 practices in a preseason game. That's insane.
Yeah, that's them. And the Dolphins have had a rough go this preseason, too.
Real rough go.
I think they lost their linebacker. So, there you go.
Tough times.
No, you don't want to see the card come out for you. Although I think the Giants got good news. Sterling Shepard was okay, even though it looked the worst.
Well, the Jags got good news too.
Marquise Lee.
Yeah, Marquise Lee looked really bad, but he's going to be out for a little bit. But it wasn't a season-ending sort of deal. And Leonard Fournette is who told everybody how easy the NFL is early on. He has a foot problem. He's going to miss this week. Not play, not practice either, but no serious damage done there. That is a big deal. I've gotten to be that old man that roots for too many things to go well for rival teams, I guess. But I don't like star players anywhere, especially rookies that I'm eager to see how they're going to fit and how they're going to play in the league, regardless if they play for my team or anybody else's. I hate to see those kinds of injuries. I get excited when the product is upgraded because of the influx of real talent out of college that we all watched closely, especially when they come out of the ACC or the SEC. We watch them so up close every weekend. I want to see how they play.
Well, and it's the deal with quarterbacks. If you're missing your star quarterback, then obviously the product takes a big hit. But it's still true about star position players. If you're missing your game breaker at receiver or running back or tight end in the NFL the way it is now, the talent is spread so thin that if you lose that guy to your team, Good God. Good luck scoring 17 to 20 points.
Yeah, it could be very, very difficult. By the way, get well soon, but this is the fear, and I hate to be cold-blooded, but, already we get word of an injury right after Freeman signs his deal. He's on the concussion protocol now, going to be out practice, not going to participate, and, this is the thing that we talk about with running backs. I mean, it's just...
He got his money. He got it.
Oh, no, I'm happy for him, but I'm just... I hate that. I mean, especially a concussion. And it's not his first. I feel like that's the direction that's going to go. And they spend a lot of money. Hour number 2. Ira Shafel will join us to start next hour. Hang in. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com. Changing the way you buy tickets.
And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl because we're the
Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers.
Hey, watch
Houston Oilers all the way.
Jeff, I will fight you.
Houston Oilers. That's their song. Why
No. First of all, they never went to a Super Bowl. It's our song. We're the only undefeated team.
Oh,
we're the only one that takes the ball goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
You and the rest of Miami holding on to the past, my friend. But you know what? September the 10th, it's on. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Not a chance. You know what that first loss feels like every year because you've never gone undefeated.
Houston Oilers.
All right, let's go. Dry-aged ribeye steaks. What do you say?
I'm in. Let's bet.
It's on.
Is Bumpa's going to be open yet?
Shh, Jeff. They don't know about that one yet.
It's coming soon. All right, Bucks.
Let's go fish.
Good times. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott set to officially appeal his 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy tomorrow. The Star-Telegram reporting Elliott's reps will argue the testimony given by his ex-girlfriend to the league was dishonest and that she made a number of threats to ruin his career. Injured Jags running back Leonard Fournette and receiver Marquise Lee won't play in Thursday's preseason game. Falcons running back Devontae Freeman is in the concussion protocol. He's been ruled out for Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Tennis, Roger Federer with a back injury will not play in the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. He said his priority is to be fit before the U.S. Open starts in 2 weeks.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello. Thanks for tuning in on a Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. You don't have to miss anything, but we take care of you if you do. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the program every evening, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can email the program if you like. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Don't forget to watch us on, not on Twitter. You can read us on Twitter, but you can watch us on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee there. Hey, every Monday, we're fortunate enough to be joined by Ira Schafel of WarChant.com. And right now, folks, and Ira can tell you more about this, but I'm going to tell you right from the get-go here that this is the time that you want to get signed up for a WarChant subscription because WarChant.com, of course, has the ultimate package for the die-hard Noel fan, but it's going to end tonight at midnight, and you will miss out if you don't get signed up.
Time is of the essence.
$25 gift certificate with a code that you type in there for Garnet and Gold, which is cool. A members-only WarChant.com T-shirt, which is shipped free to your house as well. Stainless steel WarChant.com tumbler. I like tumblers. Who doesn't like a good tumbler?
Absolutely.
Keeping your stuff cold or hot, depending on what you need. Go to for the new subscribers, sign up for the annual WarChant subscription and use the promo code Knowles2017. So Knowles2017, use that promo code, and also sign back into your old account if you've lapsed or previously canceled, and use the same link to resubscribe and get in on the kickoff special promo. It's over tonight at midnight, man.
Boy, they're just giving stuff away over there at WarChant.
They are. That's what's going on right now. Hello, Ira. How are you?
I'm good, Jeff. 8 hours left, huh? Just 8 hours.
Got a little time. 8 hours. Yep. Go make it happen. Hey, I know people, including you. Do you think I can get one of those tumblers?
I don't know about knowing me is going to help you much. Knowing Gene might help you a little bit.
I know Gene and you. Between the managing editor and the founder, I should be able to get a tumbler, damn it.
I think Gene might be your best option.
All right.
I don't have my own tumbler, so that tells you something.
Wow.
Hey, I'm not a new subscriber. This is,
I see. That's how it is. That's well sold on your part. I am proud of you for that. You are good. All right, so we're gonna get post-scrimmage updates out of you, and the first question that everybody wants to know is, I guess at this point, how much is say Joseph Shergan gonna play?
Old Joseph Shergan.
Yeah, defensive back.
Joseph.
Joseph Shergan. You know him, right? Is he going to play?
Reps are going to be hard to come by in that secondary. But,
all right. So not a lot of Joseph Shergan.
Probably not.
Okay. Let's go to some other players who may get out there. I was hoping to hear more about Shergan myself.
He gets the same amount of reps as everybody
else. That's right. That's how they split it up.
Ones and fours, twos and threes.
All right, so the news of the day for most people who tuned in and listened to his press conference on warchant.com afterwards was that Derek Kelly was holding it down on the left side, and people thought, well, that's interesting. But I'm also told that he's played well. Now, if you're a positive thinker, the way you look at that is there's a young man whose career trajectory was on a different plane for a while as a redshirt freshman. People thought highly of him. He has the knee injury, and he never really got right. He wasn't good last year in limited action, pretty much got beat out by Brock Rubel, who stunk. And so you're in a situation then where you wonder, how is this guy now emerging? But again, the reports I get over there is that he's played really well and that he's healthy for the first time. So that's a more positive way of looking at it, I suppose.
Yeah, it is, man. But I just think that the issue is, I think, obviously, people just want to see something. I mean, at this point, because if you don't have inside sources like yourself who are telling you that Derek Kelly's playing really well,
right?
The perception is, okay, so in the spring you were going to go with redshirt freshmen, either Josh Ball or Juan Williams. Then preseason camp, no, we're going to go with Rick Leonard, who hasn't played left tackle before, been a right tackle for the last year and a half. And then less than 2 weeks later, no, now we're going with Derek Kelly, who played only a couple games last year, and that was at right guard, and wasn't really even a factor at right tackle because, ostensibly, he did have the knee injury, but still, I just think that it looks like they're grasping at straws. I agree with you. I've heard good things about Derek Kelly as well, but at the same time, it doesn't. I can't imagine this instills a lot of confidence in a fan base that was already concerned about the offensive line overall, and especially that left tackle position.
Do you get a sense, though, that, again, we're somewhat early in camp and that the competition is still really strong and that we're not done yet, that we may see many varieties, many machinations with the offensive line, many different looks there's an outside chance, just the way that he's talked about him in the past. You could juggle this. I mean, you can look at a Landon Dickerson and put him at left tackle, and you could end up putting Bavion Johnson at right guard and Minshew at left guard, and the next thing you know, obviously Eberle at center and Leonard at right tackle. You could see a different look. I don't know how this is going to go, but do you get that's where they're at?
Yeah, and I think that could be going on for a while. I just think that what kind of throws a monkey wrench into everything, in my opinion, is just this first month of the schedule. If you weren't playing, they're going to be playing some unbelievable defensive lines. And I think that because of that, it's not too surprising that right now the group they're looking at is basically all their experienced guys, with the exception of Brock Rubel. I mean, Derek Kelly has started several games. Rick Leonard has started several games. Cole Minshew has started several games. Lynn Dickerson has. Alec Eberle obviously started for most of the last couple of years. So, right now it doesn't look like any of those redshirt freshmen are going to be, factor heavily into that first game, and maybe not the first two games. Now, maybe you get through the Alabama game, play some of those guys in week 2, and then maybe you feel better about mixing one or two of them in week 3 or 4 if you need to. But I agree with you. I think this is going to be a work in progress to the rest of the camp and probably into the season. But again, for a team that's competing for a national title, at some point, that's got to get kind of ironed down.
It's also, as we know, a point amongst the fan base that is it's the root of much consternation, a lot of frustration over the years. Now, we've cited it before. People believe, whether it's their favorite pro team or their college team, more often than not, they all believe their offensive line sucks because when they make mistakes, the results are glaring, as opposed to some other positions where you could get lost in the mix. But it does seem like if that's the direction we're headed, where the inconsistencies are going to derive from the offensive line, boy, is that going to get ugly in a hurry, at least amongst those on the message boards and the chatter of college football fans, in particular Florida State fans, obviously in this case, because that means that you've got other things shored up. You feel good about your starting receivers. You feel good about your defensive line. You feel good about the depth of talent in the backfield. You feel good about your quarterback and in the secondary. It'll all be on Rick Trickett's shoulders then.
Well, and to be honest with you, it'll be on Jimbo Fisher's shoulders too, because, at this point, it's not just it's those things you mentioned, but then on top of that, people really kind of fell in love with DeAndre Francois last year. I think they loved the toughness he showed. The way, they felt terrible for him, that he took that abuse. And some of it was on him, but a lot of it was on the offensive line. If he goes out there and gets sacked, 4 or 5 times by Alabama, 4 or 5 times by Miami and NC State, people are going to be mad at Jimbo too. Because they're going to feel like, hey, this kid's getting killed, and what did you do about it? Again, I think there's a chance that they'll be okay up front. I still think that I like some of those guys more than other people do. But if we're going with the hypothetical that they struggle, if they do, I think the heat's going to go on Jimbo too, because people are going to feel like, not only do you have a team capable of competing at a high level, but you have a quarterback who really could do some things, but may never get a chance.
Defense is ahead of the offense. That is always the case. First scrimmage was sloppy from what I'm hearing. DeAndre didn't have a great day, but that the defense looks very, very good, as we know. And also, I don't know what you're hearing as far as the running backs go, but I'm really happy to hear that Jacques Patrick is having a very good camp. Are you hearing that as well?
Yeah, I have. I didn't hear much about him from last night necessarily, but I have heard he's had a good camp. And I'm also hearing the same thing you did about the scrimmage. The defense obviously doing well, and Jimbo basically said that last night when we spoke to him, and he didn't give specifics, but he said clearly the defense was controlling things early, and I think the offense made some plays and individual guys made plays, but I think in general they struggle, and that's it's to be expected anywhere, but certainly here in this situation with a defense that brings back so many guys. And what's also encouraging about that is the fact that several of those key guys didn't really play. And Jacob Pugh didn't play.
That's right.
I don't think Josh Sweat played, or if he did, I'm not sure how much he played. The linebackers are thin right now because of a couple of guys being out. So, not only is your first team defense really, really good, but I think your second team defense is very good as well.
We'll just address it because it's on everybody's mind, but Jimbo did say, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, so if you want to lend any clarity that you may have on this subject, you can. If not, I don't know. But he basically said that everybody who was out is going to be back. And obviously, the elephant in the room here is the fact that Matthew Thomas has been out with, quote-unquote, a cold of some sort or something for some time now. But that is a reason for real concern. But again, Jimbo's words yesterday were that everybody's going to be back, right?
The elephant in the room or the unicorn in the room?
Yeah, the unicorn in the room. You're right. Yeah.
Jimbo was asked specifically, and we've asked him several times, and he was asked specifically about Matthew Thomas last night after he said everybody would be back, and he just reiterated that and said everybody should be back this week at some point. Now, I don't know when that'll be. And again, I don't know specifically if it's personal, if it's academics, if it's whatever it is. Nobody over there is saying directly, but Jimbo seems to be pretty assured that Matthew Thomas will be there, and and that's kind of what we're hearing. We've heard from other people that that they thought he would be back. It's a big deal though, because again, this is a team that I think is a national title contender like everybody else, but you take a guy like that off, and now it's just it's a chink in the armor before you even start playing. I mean, you're going to have to kind of get through the season and take the hits you get. You certainly don't want to take a hit like that before the season. And certainly, man, we've talked about Matthew Thomas before. He's a guy that I don't know him personally other than covering him, but you certainly pull for a guy like that because we all know all the things he's been through just to get to this point. It would stink if he came back for his senior year and for something to happen and him not be able to play. But again, like you said, Jimbo seems very confident that he'll be fine.
I'll tell you what's exciting, and that he never wavers on, period. It sounds like they are absolutely loaded with a variety of players in the secondary that can have an impact, including some freshmen. He can't talk enough about Hamza, and he's, this is exciting times for that secondary because, again, you're talking about a 6'4" kid, and then you look at a McFadden last year who's so long and with the 8 interceptions, and obviously with Derwin. There's just so much talent there with Trey Marshall, and you go on and on and on with all these players, but it sounds like they got even better if that's possible.
Yeah, it really is. And I kind of wondered, about some of those young DBs because I knew, in the spring, obviously we all heard they loved Stanford Samuels III, Cyrus Fagan, who's banged up right now, but he's another guy they were impressed by. And then you bring in the Hamza Nasruddin, I guess is how you pronounce it, out of North Carolina, who is super. I mean, I know that people that followed recruiting were in love with him, his length and his athleticism, and apparently he's very physical. So But you just wondered where the opportunities would be because, again, this is a secondary that returns just about everybody, and then a bunch of guys who played a lot last season due to injuries. I mean, you just have so many different options, and that was kind of what I asked Jimbo last night is, are you just going to find the 5 best DBs, or are you finding the guys who match up with your opponent? And he said, no, we want to find the five best DBs, but where they line up may depend on the opponent, and that's where again, a lot of those guys play star and safety, or star and corner, or corner and safety, and so I think that's going to be fun to watch. Who the 5 are, I think we have a good feeling who the 5 are, but then who the first guys off the bench are and where they all line up game to game.
Talking with Ira Shafel, warchant.com. Ira, at wide receiver, the reports have been good. I know the play is inconsistent because the offense is behind the defense right now, but you're hearing a lot of great things, at least I am. A lot of chatter of the consistency of Auden Tate, who's catching everything in camp right now. Obviously, Keith Gavin continues to emerge. We'll have to see if Nyquan Murray is consistent, but obviously he's an explosive player. So as long as their starters don't get hurt, it sounds like they're going to be all right there.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Just talking to people around the team, that's what basically everybody has said to me is, as long if those 3 guys are healthy, then they're going to be okay. And they have been, and knock on wood, they will be. But those 3 guys, they feel great about. And then can you get contributions from a George Campbell? Can you get contributions from some of the other Tamorian Terry or DJ Matthews and some of these young guys? So the big 3, I think, I think they're as talented a group as you need, certainly, and one of the more talented groups in college football. But again, it's just going to be a matter of the lack of depth if anything were to go wrong. You know what? It cracks me up, but I think the Jackson kid's going to play. I agree with you, my man. Jared Jackson's going to play, man. His hard work is going to pay off. A lot of people think he's going to get some time this year, and that would be good to know. Anybody else in that group that you're hearing will demand reps? Is Terry good enough as a freshman to demand reps early in the season? Jimbo definitely seemed high on him. He didn't cool off. Like when we, a lot of times you can ask about a player that you see or you've heard some things about, and he could be kind of lukewarm or kind of cool about. But he didn't seem to be that way with Terry. He seemed to feel like he's a guy that can help. And, again, it's just going to be a matter of, the knowledge of the offense and then also how comfortable they are, playing on game day. It's just a big deal to be a, 17 or 18-year-old kid. He played 1A football in Georgia. Now he's going to be going in front of 80,000 people. It could be a pretty big shock. So, but obviously we've all seen the talent there, no question. All right, next time I expect you to know about every single guy, no matter how out of the blue I grab somebody. The best was, I don't know if you remember listening to Coach Bowden's shows, and there would be people would call in and ask like about a walk-on fullback that it was like their cousin or something. Right. And Coach Bowden would always he sounded like he knew who they were. I can't imagine. You're pretty sure he had no idea. How could he know who some, walk-on fifth-string linebacker is? But he would always play, old so-and-so, he's doing good. He's doing great. He's doing wonderful. Yeah. I can't play it off as well as Coach Bowden. Well, go find out how Joseph Shergan's doing, all right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll talk to you later, brother. See you, man. All right, bye. That's Ira Shafel, warchant.com. And speaking of warchant.com, you should know yet again, of course, with the big opener, some consider it the greatest in college football history. You want to get yourself fully prepared for the opener and do so, warchant.com, helping out in that cause with the ultimate package for the diehard Seminole fan. Here's what you do. Sign up for the annual warchant.com subscription, and what you'll get is a $25 gift certificate code to Garnet and Gold, the top provider of FSU apparel and merchandise. Members-only warchant.com T-shirt, shipped free to your hizzy. Members-only 16-ounce stainless steel warchant.com tumbler. Woo-hoo! That comes to your house, shipped free as well. Would kind of stink if you did all this and they're like, that'll be $25 when they dropped it off.
And you got to pick it up.
6 free months added to your annual subscription, which would be a $50 value, approximately. 10% discount to purchases made at Garnet Gold. Free warchant.com items at promotional events. New subscribers sign up for annual warchant.com subscription right now. Use the promo code Knowles2017. If you previously canceled or let your subscription lapse for some reason, Sign back in to your account. Use the link to resubscribe. Get in the kickoff special promo.
Coach Bowden, my cousin is a walk-on safety. His name is Samuel L. Jackson. How's he doing?
He's doing great. I know his mama. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
You're up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experience Commencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Our thanks to Chappelle. That's an interesting scenario that they got going on over there with Matthew Thomas. And also what's going on, maybe it's nothing with Matthew Thomas. Maybe he's back, and as Mike and Mike would tell you, better than ever.
Well, maybe he had a sinus infection thingy like I've had. Because that,
You've had it for like 3 weeks.
It's still congested right now, but no more pain. But it did take a good 10 days to get the pain out of the system.
You might need some scotch. Scotch is delicious.
I got plenty in my cabinet, thanks to somebody.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that's actually a remedy that doctors use. They say you got sinus problems. Why don't you drink some good scotch? But also the situation with Derek Kelly, it does look it seems to be an ominous sign. I could see how the fans would be going, Boy, Derek's playing so well. We just slapped him over there at left tackle. It's not that other people aren't getting the job done, right?
Well, again, the optics of it. I understand that practice is closed outside of the one we've seen, and he was at right tackle for the one that we saw. But at the same time, you would like to hear as a fan, that Williams and Ball are at least still competing for that job, because you're not hearing anything about them. It's about it's Rick Leonard. Well, of course Rick Leonard's going to be there. He's our left tackle. Well, you know what? Derek Kelly's going to be that left tackle. I know it's all lip service at the end of the day. Even if Coach said the words, well, we didn't expect him to be the left tackle, but he has taken the position by storm. He looks so much better. We would still be skeptical. He can say nothing right in this particular circumstance. But it just does feel more like patchwork than it does an embarrassment of riches.
It does feel that way, but I have, again, more than once been told that he has been somewhat of a surprise. So they are, I think, pleasantly surprised with the actual level of play that Derek Kelly is providing. And I think he has sort of necessitated a shift in the competition. That doesn't mean he's going to go out and dominate and be great. And, oh, my God, we have a star on our hands that we didn't see coming, and he's now a redshirt junior. But I do think it also could be that he's just played well enough to earn that right to be over there, and it's not by default. It's not sort of these other guys aren't playing well. It could be that he is. He's playing better than everybody. I don't know. I know there's still plenty of time, and I know the juggling is going to continue. They do have some guys they like a lot. They've liked Minshew all along they can't stop talking about him. He had some concussion issues and injury problems, and he was awfully young a year ago when he was asked to step in there and play. So I could see where we don't know what he is just yet, at least not on game days. They see him every day in practice. I've always liked what I've seen out of Landon Dickerson almost from the get-go. And if he's fully healthy, he's smart, he's aggressive, he's kind of nasty, and he likes to play the game, loves to play the game. There's a ferocity to the way he plays, and he's talented. So I think they're really good there. I think there's a big guessing game involved in Alec Eberle. When you tell me a guy's had an inch shaved off the bones in his hips in order to be able to bend and flex and be able to do things that he couldn't do a year ago, things that prohibited him from being in the weight room and getting stronger and being able to do things with his lower body, I don't know how to gauge how much better he can be post that surgery. Because all we saw on the field was substandard play at the position. Maybe it makes all the difference in the world, and he's a completely different player. Maybe. I don't know.
But we do like what we've seen, at least from a build standpoint and quickness, from Bavion Johnson.
Yeah, I like Bavion's work ethic. I like, the build is great. So,
well, they were doing backflips the day that he signed. That signing day, they thought, here's our solution. We have our guy. So, of that class where there were quite a few headliners, Dickerson obviously is somebody who's living up to the billing. On signing day, he was thought to be somebody who could be an instant impact player. But Bavion Johnson was one of the players that, coming on for the press conference, Jimbo Fisher mentioned, and the whispers from the recruitniks, the experts, they all said, this is the one. They finally have a player that they really feel good about at the position, and he might slide out and play guard. Could it be that he's one of the best 5? I mean, they're still going to cross-train like crazy, too, and that's the hard thing. You remember when Jimbo talks about checking his notes back in 2014? Well, we have to do the same thing as fans and media members. When it comes to defensive players, cross-training, sometimes linebackers line up at different positions and defensive linemen move from one side to the other, or defensive ends. Even the safeties, a corner to safety. This happens on the offensive line, too. It's just that, scrimmage 1 is a benchmark. Mm-hmm. That's one of those points where you'd like to have some answers, and it looks like they're still searching for answers. Be interested to see by the time we get to scrimmage 2 who exactly is going to be at that left tackle position. Could it be a brand new guy? Could it be Brock Rubel?
Well, one thing to do if you're trying to find balance in the way that you perceive camp so far and where Florida State's at and how good or bad or somewhere in between they're going to be, go read the campus reports, the updates, and those that cover the programs around the country on a weekly basis outside of Tallahassee. And what you find is that this is the time where those fan concerns are always on edge, because camp is a discovery process. Some things you think are going to go a certain way don't always go that way. Some other things that you have no hope for suddenly show a glimmer of hope or light. I was reading a lot this weekend. It's that time of year where we flick the switch and really start diving in. And I was reading about Florida's situation. Obviously, when you have 7 football players, including their leading receiver, Antonio Callaway, suspended for the season opener against Michigan after coming off of, 2 middling-type seasons, good enough to win the East, but in a down SEC, I can only imagine, how nervous Florida fans are today about that news. Down in Miami, they don't know who their quarterback's going to be, and they're getting different reports how all 3 of those guys look, and nobody really standing out and emerging as a star. So it's a hell of a thing to go into a season, one that you have high hopes pinned to, and you don't know who your quarterback is. At Alabama, they're replacing a lot on that defense, and there's concerns in the secondary, there's concerns in the front 7. And it's all relative, of course, when you're replacing stars that have moved on to the NFL with other 5-star kids. It's a little bit easier. But they did lose last year's final game. They did not win the national championship, and that is the year-in and year-out goal. So their concerns, no matter how relative, are probably heightened in a year like this where you do lose people. But, again, you go to other locales around the country where there are holes in certain segments and aspects of a team, you'll find these same concerns. I think the problem we have is that if there's any hint of a problem on the offensive line, it feels an awful lot like same old, same old. That the segment on the team most frequently discussed and frustrated or cause of frustration is the offensive line. Now, that's not always true. That's the perception. Certainly, we went into last season with this idea that the defense was going to be dominant, that the defense was going to be good. We talked up that defense an awful lot, and they went out and stunk. They turned out to be the problem. It wasn't your redshirt freshman quarterback that we were scared to death about. We had no idea what DeAndre Francois was going to be. So while we're doing the camp comparisons and thoughts about what our thoughts were a year ago and what they are now, we went into last year believing we had a dominant defense and an uncertainty at quarterback. As it turned out, the quarterback played well above what we could have expected, and the defense cost us the season. Just remember that on a daily basis when you're thinking about, oh my gosh, this is the pressing problem, or this is going to be the area of concern. It could all get twisted in a hurry.
I don't much care for your logic, sir. I don't know why you have to inject that into a conversation. Why would you bring reason, perspective, and logic here?
Well, and I do it for our own sanity because I'm like you. I can get emotional about this and get invested in it in the same way where you're like, well, no, I don't want to have this conversation again. Why are we always having this conversation? But then I'm reminded that, man, we came out last year, Dalvin Cook had an injury, but we ended up putting up all kinds of points on Ole Miss. The defense couldn't make stops until basically you had one guy take over the game.
And we can't watch practice. You know, that's the other thing. It's like we're not seeing it, so we're talking ourselves into a tizzy because we can't see practice, and the name Derek Kelly doesn't inspire fear. But maybe he is playing better. Guys do improve. I mean, hell, if there were reports at a camp a couple years ago that Casey Beatty was kicking the hell out of the ball, people said, well, screw that.
Well, that was close.
That was close.
That would have been a first for you. I don't think you've ever had that.
No, I did one time.
Yeah,
but not that word.
Not that word.
No. They would have said, screw that. That's not real. And then debt went to profit. He turned into profit, and he had a great season. So maybe it is possible. It's just that I will admit, when I heard that name, I said, really?
Well,
all the candidates.
There is something cool that's going to happen this week, and I don't know to what extent it's going to happen in terms of access, but I'm going to use it for this show because this is my day job, and this is what I've done for almost 20 years, and this is the passion that I have. But I'm doing some stuff for SiriusXM on Wednesday with Andy Staples, and it's their camp tour on the College Sports Nation, and he and I are going to be doing a 2-hour show together that will air. I don't know when it'll air, either that night or maybe later that week.
This Wednesday, next Wednesday?
This Wednesday coming up. Yeah.
Okay.
And here's why I bring it up. I bring it up because, A, I'm looking forward to it. It's great to be able to cover Florida State and do so on a national level, but also it's a chance to talk to Coach Jimbo Fisher again. I don't know who all Florida State is going to give us. I know who we've requested. But we've got a lot of coaches and players, and that includes Rick Trickett, by the way. And it'll be interesting because we don't often get that, Tom. And really, I truly mean it this way. Once we do media days, that's about it until we get to post-first game, my interview with Jimbo on a Sunday. So this Wednesday is a chance, halfway through camp, to kind of read between the lines and get a feel.
Yeah, progress report.
And I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm, of course, going to bring that, not just that audio, but whatever experience I have on that Wednesday to this show immediately that afternoon.
Well, maybe that at SiriusXM you can really talk down and dirty with Coach Trickett because he's not afraid to pull punches when it comes to lingo.
I would love that. I don't know if it would be frowned upon if I, in my line of questioning, began to drop F-bombs to make him feel more comfortable or not. They might say, boy, we hire this guy for this gig. His first one out the box that's non-PGA Tour radio, and he just starts flying with the F-bombs.
Well, sorry, guys. You got to know who you're talking to, and I'm speaking Trickett's language, and he's not exactly a big fan. So, you know.
I'll be curious. You know, he's funny with the media, and he is a straight shooter. So I am going to be excited to hear his assessment of this group so far. Because I do think he's the kind of guy that will straight up rip them if they're not performing.
That's probably true. I just wonder how much time he'll give you, how much he'll care to sit across from you and answer questions. That'll be interesting.
It's a national show, Rick. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Licensed License number CCC 049350.
The following message is brought to you by Health Markets, your first choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. That's 800-478-0834.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Attention Pitmasters, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and 7th Hill Tap Room are partnering up to host an amateur barbecue cook-off and local craft beer fest Saturday, August the 19th from 2 to 10 p.m. For a $40 entry fee, you can enter any or all 4 barbecue categories. That's Boston butt, chicken, pork ribs, and specialties, with the winner in each category taking home a $100 gift card redeemable at either Corner Pocket or 7th Hill Tap Room. Think you're Tallahassee's Pitmaster Supreme? Enter today. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill 7th Hill Tap Room Amateur Barbecue Cook-Off, August 19th from 2 to 10 p.m.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of Pennzoil High Mileage Motor Oil and a MicroGuard filter for the price of Pennzoil Conventional, just $24.99. Plus, get a $5 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate. Save big with Pennzoil oil and filter specials at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bill's Tree Service. We go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service. We go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott set to officially appeal his 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy tomorrow. The Star-Telegram reporting Elliott's reps will argue the testimony given by his ex-girlfriend to the league was dishonest and that she made a number of threats to ruin his career. Injured Jags running back Leonard Fournette and receiver Marquise Lee won't play in Thursday's preseason game. Falcons running back Devontae Freeman is in the concussion protocol. He's been ruled out for Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Tennis, Roger Federer with a back injury will not play in the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. He said his priority is to be fit before the U.S. Open starts in 2 weeks.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Say it ain't so. Ric Flair is in a coma. Sir, that is not how we start a Monday.
There will be no wooing today.
Well, if you have the woo off in there, you can play the woo off in honor of Rick just to...
Well, let me hang on to it in case we really need to honor Ric Flair.
If we need the woo off. Damn it, man. Yeah, Ric Flair placed in a coma before having surgery. You know, let's be real honest here. It's not like Rick has led the most salubrious of lifestyles. I got to imagine that Rick's time is limited. But my man was just, wasn't he deadlifting like 400 pounds or something like that at 68 years old the other day? Didn't we see a video of that?
Yeah, that was within the last 6 months, and then they completed the shooting of the 30 for 30. That's going to air in October or November, I think it is. They did the promo for that already. So, you know, maybe they might release it earlier if events don't unfold.
I wonder how honest they're going to be in that 30 for 30, because I don't think Rick has, and I don't know, but from what you read, it doesn't appear that Rick's been a good guy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think he's probably been not just not a good guy, but kind of a bad guy.
From what you can gather in watching the promo again for that 30 for 30 that's coming out on Ric Flair, which is going to be must-see television, he started out in the business as himself and then persona separate, but then as his star rose,
he became the persona.
He became the dude. And that's not a great guy. You know, that's the whole point of the Nature Boy is he's kind of the bad guy you like on the surface.
Because he's ridiculous.
But if you think about what he's saying and what that actually looks like in real life, that's probably not somebody that you want to run with. And he became that person.
Well, taking a break from football, Florida State football, or the NFL for a moment, let's at least acknowledge that Justin Thomas, the latest of the young guns, is your PGA champion. He wins the year's final major. He is 24 years old. He's had the best season of any golfer so far this year with 4 PGA Tour wins and now a major to cap it off. Means he's likely going to be the golfer of the year. That is hard to fathom.
Yeah, there are a lot of players who succeed when it's, you know, West Coast swing and Hawaii in the beginning of the year, and then they do nothing. It didn't look like that when Justin Thomas was playing early in the PGA season and playing well. That looked sustainable. And then he backed it up with performances in the major prior to this one. But some of the putts he hit yesterday, I mean, it was his day. He went out and took it, which nobody wanted to do for a good 2.5 hours.
Of it, yeah. I felt bad for your boy Chris Stroud there.
Well, you know,
moment proved a little big.
It did prove a little bit big for him, and he tried to do, you know, the easy breezy thing, but I think it caught up to him a little bit. But it was also Justin Thomas's day. You talk about 50-50 things happening and going in your favor.
And that, yeah, we see that sometimes.
He had no shortage of about 4 hole outs, either chips or putts that went side door or went from the other side of the cup and dropped in. So he was hitting bombs. He played like a man. He hit 3 or 4 key shots, but then he also got some breaks too, and that's why it was a little bit academic down the stretch.
Yeah, and you know what I thought was also very interesting in all of this is, you know, they are trying – let's look big picture here for golf. I'm a fan, and this is the only segment we're going to really do on it today, but I'm a big fan, as are you, and we watch the tour, and there's a percentage of our listeners who do as well. They are really pressing this tour has never been healthier narrative. Jim Nantz can't repeat himself enough about this, and really that's often, in my mind, a code for thank God Tiger's not here nonsense, because Nantz has always hated him because he's had no time for Nantz. But the thing I notice is it sounds forced. I get it. The young guns have taken over the game, and we know who they are, and he's part of that group. He was up-and-coming, talented, and everybody knew about him, and he came out the gate swinging, especially this year. And so now he's won a major. Spieth's won 3. Bubba Watson was part of that group for a while there. He's won a couple, although he's fading. And so you see these guys, and you think to yourself, well, golf's in a good place because you have 4 and 5 guys now that all have immense talent, all under the age of 26 years old. Golf's in a good place. Not one of those guys, and that includes Jordan Spieth, who they can't stop talking about even when he's playing poorly, moves the needle. The ratings are not good. People aren't flocking to the course to come see Jordan Spieth. They have yet to be able to replace a guy like Tiger, and I get that. It's hard to do. Tiger was charismatic. Talent was transcendent. At times, he could be polarizing. But people watched golf in record numbers. He changed the purse. He changed the popularity. He was a transcendent golfer. There hadn't been a guy like that, save for Arnie and Jack, really, to advance golf that far. None of these kids, whether it's the kids we like Jason Day or Dustin Johnson, who's not a kid but younger.
Yeah, Brooks.
Brooks Koepka, certainly, who we love as a Knoll, and had a great season. Now that the majors are over, you can look at his consistency in those, including winning the U.S. Open, and say, man, what a year. None of those guys are putting butts in seats and driving folks to the television set. And I know they're trying to push it, and I know they're making some changes, but it's false to hear Nance talk about this the way that he does.
No, and I would agree the quality of play is incredible. And what any number of players can do at a given tournament, really, I mean, some of the shots they can hit and some of the ways they can flip a course on its head by hitting
it's amazing
bomb drives or incredible second shots.
Yeah.
It does, and it makes it tougher to be consistent. You know, I really do believe there's greater parity at the highest level than there was when Tiger, burst onto the scene. He dominated, but there wasn't anybody really willing to go that extra step consistently.
Yeah.
There was a DeMarco here or a Bob May there, and Phil really cowered every time the two of them played head-to-head. He wasn't up to the task.
Except for the one time that Phil actually rose up and played exceptionally well when they were on the same, in the same group.
But it wasn't a rivalry.
Right.
When Jack was going along, I get that there was an oligarchy. It was like 4 or 5 real players, but they all had their turns, and they all won their fair share of battles against Jack. It really didn't happen that way with Tiger. If he was leading a tournament, he was going to win a tournament.
He was going to win the tournament, yeah.
And that's just the way it was. The one thing I will say in watching, more shots this year for every major, because I'm following Brooks and I'm watching closely the younger players in the game. The shot-making ability is incredible, and the distances everybody, is hitting the golf ball now is amazing. But the short games are interesting to me. Nick Faldo pointed out yesterday when Patrick Reed hit an asinine chip on the 18th hole when he's talking about old school, run it up to the flag, and worst case, you're 4 or 5 feet away, and you're going to make a putt. But there are more moments with the short game for all the best players in the world where it looks like they've never worked out situationals before. Everything's a wedge. Everything's trying to fly to the pin. And I get Quail Hollow played very different and difficult this week than it ever has before, especially on Saturday. But you see some moments where you think, well, what in the world are you thinking from a course management standpoint? It's just stark. The best players in the world can still make an error around the green, and you go, good God. And
Go back to Saturday and the kinds of decisions Jason Day made to take himself out of the tournament.
Right, and carding 8 on the final hole.
It's crazy.
But to me, maybe it's just that we were so spoiled that we got to watch Tiger, who could ratchet it up, and then Phil Mickelson right behind him, who's one of the short game wizards of all time. It just seems to me there's really not that player out there who can scramble, get up and down, and hit shots from off the green to a couple feet. Jordan will bury a 20-footer. He'll bury a
50-footer.
50-footer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But when it comes to short game wizardry, you have above-average players, but no elite players in that regard.
Rory McIlroy said after this tournament that he may be taking some serious time off, which he's already done, and said, quote, look, I don't know what I'm going to do. You might not see me until next year. You might see me in a couple weeks. It really just depends. He's mentioning that he's having injury problem, a skeletal muscle issue with his rhomboid. I got to be honest with you. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense, man. It's a weird time to bring it up after you play poorly when you were the favorite going in and you had played on this course. I know it was different before. But he gets boat raced basically by the young guns in this tournament, has a good final day to make it look respectable, but he hasn't done anything on tour this year. He hasn't really been anywhere to be found. And he's played a precious few events too. And now to tell me that you've got more injury issues, it just sounds like sour grapes. I think from a PR standpoint, and maybe he's got a rhomboid problem. I don't know. But from a PR standpoint, if I'm your agent, I'm telling you, that's not the time to bring it up. Don't bring it up after that round, after you finish a good distance out, and you say, I don't know when you're going to see me again.
No, what you do is you play another tournament a week or two later and then bring it up, because then people can retroactively in their mind go, oh, well, he was dealing with something all year long. You don't need to do it on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Because there were even whispers during the broadcast as he's, finishing up on the last. And they're saying, well, he doesn't know what his schedule is going to be. No. you got to wait, man.
No, you got to wait. There are things I like about Rory, a lot of things that I like about Rory, but he gets to the blame game and excuse game a little too quickly for my taste. One thing you're noticing, and we talk about the psychology of all of this, and it's fascinating, and it's something that in golf we can do this. Those guys that just take responsibility and allow for the fact that, hey, golf is really weird and you can play great and have nothing to show for it, and sometimes you get really lucky and you play pretty poorly and maybe you still score. But the guys who take all of that with a grain of salt and just keep on keeping on and don't usually offer up excuses as to why, tend to have the best results and tend to give themselves more and more opportunities. And I just don't like his body language or his verbiage after tournaments these days. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
This is Dennis Miller. Did you know there are 5 times more hires made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research? Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a basketball game with 5 times more dunks. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Indeed is easy to use. You can post a job in minutes. You can even set up automatic screener questions to help you zero in on qualified candidates. And once resumes start rolling in, you can review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews, all from an easy-to-use online dashboard. Right now, Indeed is giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, which boosts your job and relevant search results. Basically, it helps you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/offer. That's Indeed.com/offer. Try the world's #1 job site today, Indeed. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan Service Department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott set to officially appeal his 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy tomorrow. The Star-Telegram reporting Elliott's reps will argue the testimony given by his ex-girlfriend to the league was dishonest and that she made a number of threats to ruin his career. Injured Jags running back Leonard Fournette and receiver Marquise Lee won't play in Thursday's preseason game. Falcons running back Devontae Freeman is in the concussion protocol. He's been ruled out for Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Tennis, Roger Federer with a back injury will not play in the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. He said his priority is to be fit before the U.S. Open starts in 2 weeks.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stop in at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Hey, don't miss anything, folks. But if you do, we got you covered all 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. So you can catch up, excuse me, at your leisure. An eventful weekend, one that saw Florida State conclude on Sunday with a scrimmage. I'll touch on it and recap what we talked about some in that first hour and again in that second hour in parts as well as we get ever closer. Now, can you believe how close we are? It's the 14th, couple weeks and a few days, and it's on.
Yeah, so that means, if I have it right, that this upcoming weekend is your last weekend without football that counts until, say, about February.
Email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And to note, we are on YouTube as well. You can watch the show being performed, ESPN Tallahassee. Currently, there's a gnat somehow in the studio flying around my face as I talk to you.
I saw that last hour. It was on the other side of your little microphone cover there.
It was pissing me off.
Yeah.
Look at that, 92 years old. Frank Broyles, I just saw, passed away. Longtime Arkansas coach, passing away at 92. Before your time, Tom Lang. He coached Arkansas. This is funny. This gets back to my youth and just being a college football fan. He coached Arkansas from 1958, long before I was alive, until 1976. But here's the thing. I can remember way back when when people would talk about him as a commentator, and he would, I remember my dad, he joined as a color commentator, and I think Frank Broyles worked all the way through into the mid to late 80s. He was with Keith Jackson, did stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So that's kind of what I remember. I don't remember his coaching days, but my dad would always reference him as one of the all-time greats. But anyhow, he died at the age of 92. Good long run, hell of a life, and great success on the college football field. He was an athletic director. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. Was broadcaster. Was a winner at Arkansas. And anyhow, rest in peace, Frank Broyles. Back to Florida State, and the news of the weekend again coming out of the scrimmage was that Derek Kelly is playing at left tackle. That's not a name we expected to be associated with that position at all. It raises an eyebrow. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world. I've heard Kelly has had a very good camp that has surprised many. Perhaps, and I'm only speculating here, that stems from finally being healthy. Let's remember his redshirt freshman year, he was a guy that played really well. He's a big kid, 6'5", 320, so he's not lacking there in size or length. But he is a guy that I know what I just said. Just keep it on, folks. He is a guy, though, that did have the knee injury and is now apparently fully healthy and playing well, performing well. It just hit you what I said.
Well, I didn't catch it. Usually I'm right on top of those things.
Yeah, not lacking in.
No, frankly,
I'm surprised you didn't go, whoo.
Well, no.
Keep it going, sir.
Yes, we're keeping going. No, I was just thinking about the implications and the hard part. This is the hard part of camp. Yeah, I know, there you go.
Yeah, that's what you were thinking.
The really hard part, man, is that you just got to sit, wait, and see what comes of it. So is this the permanent solution? And if it is, you got to wait for us to go through the Alabama game and the Miami game and the NC State game to know whether or not it works. You're hearing that he's playing well. It's like, well, great. How well did he have to play to take the left tackle job? That's the first follow-up question I have.
And it's what you also don't know. And listen, how poorly was somebody else playing for him to get that job, right? Is it a combination of the two? Or is it simply that he's playing exceptionally well? Hey, let's hope it's the latter. I can't know. You can't know. It's dubious. I get it. I understand why you would look at this with a jaundiced eye. You would say, well, let's see here. In the spring, we were told that the left tackle position was an open competition, but primarily between two young guys, Juwan Williams being one of them, Josh Ball being the other. That you were uncomfortable with the idea of moving Rick Leonard from right tackle to left tackle because he's already played over there at the right side and seems to have a comfort level associated with it. So we're going to go ahead and open everything up to competition. Then when we start fall camp, the first thing you hear is that he's being moved to left tackle, that he's had a great summer. Well, in summer, they're not donning pads. I don't know what they would have learned about him over the summer other than he obviously participated in workouts, voluntary, of course. But that said, okay, fine. That's fine. If what you figured when you got to camp was, I've been thinking about this a little bit more, and the more I think about it, the more I realize we need to move our strongest tackle to that position. So I'm going to make the switch. Sure, maybe we should have done it in the spring, but I'm not going to prolong and make a mistake twice. I'm going to go ahead and make this move now. Coaches can do that. We all make decisions based on the information we have at the time. Sometimes we consider that. We fully vet the situation, and the more we think about it, we change our mind. It's what smart people do. It can happen. So he changes his mind, and he moves him to left tackle. That's fine. That in and of itself doesn't bother me. You work somebody else over there on the right side, which is where we thought Derek Kelly might end up. You feel really good about where you're at with Landon Dickerson, an emerging star on this offensive line. Alec Eberle gets healthier with the surgery. Now he can bend. He can lift more weights and gain some strength and do the things he couldn't do a year ago because of his hip problems and his injuries. So, I don't know, knock on wood, that he emerges as a different player or higher caliber player. They've always liked Minshew when he's healthy. So, okay, you'll deal with that, right? But then we hear, coming out of the first scrimmage, that now Derek Kelly is on the left side. And so fans are left to say, well, what in the hell is going on with this? I mean, we cannot figure out what we're doing at a pretty important position. Sure, I get that. But this is an open competition that is still taking place on a daily basis. They're juggling to try to find the best five. I'm not going to make excuses or be a mouthpiece for the coaches. I'm not at practice. I can't see practice. I go by word of mouth. I go by my sources. I know that Derek Kelly has been having a very good camp. That's good news. The more the merrier. I'd like to hear about 7 or 8 different offensive linemen having a good camp. I'd like that decision to become that much more difficult, right? We got so many guys playing so well. Listen, Bavion Johnson's had a good camp. Eberle looks better. Kelly's looked good. I don't know how Leonard's playing. I thought he was average in the open practice. It's one practice. I know Dickerson's going to be a good player, and was already a good player just last year when he did play. So let's see who emerges. Let's see what comes from the coming days. Every first scrimmage typically sees the defense dominate. From what I'm told, this was no different. The defense played very well. The offense is behind the defense currently.
Yeah, again, I think it's just the jarring nature of that announcement being that after spring is over, you think there are two primary candidates for left tackle. Haven't heard much, if anything, about them as far as that position goes now in fall camp. And your replacement was thought to be entrenched on the right side. Then he was moved to the left in Rick Leonard. And Kelly was a depth player last year. There's no doubt that an apt description of what he was, a depth guard, a depth tackle. And all of a sudden, he's going to be, your left tackle. There, at the same time, Jimbo can say nothing right in this circumstance. People are going to be concerned about the offensive line no matter what the solutions are, no matter what he says after practice in his pressers. If he says that the offensive line has been the strength of the team, people would still say, well, he's just saying that to protect them because he knows that there's a lot of scrutiny. He could say that Rick Leonard is dominating on the right side, and Kelly has come in and he's demanded that left tackle position, and he's going to be a great player moving forward. It doesn't matter what Jimbo says. You just have to see it at some point. And the problem is, in the Rolodex of names, we weren't assigning this particular name to that position. So it's just hard from a fan standpoint where our number one concern was already the offensive line, and you're pulling out of the second teamers we thought from last year to move to left tackle. And you say to yourself, I was already nervous about this group. This makes me more nervous about this group because in the spring I was told we had two solutions and we're going to have a good battle there. In the fall I'm told it's a brand new name and forget those two kids. They're not even playing at right tackle right now when Rick Leonard's at left. Now it's this right tackle from the open practice. Good God, the sky is falling. It's hard. I get it. It's hard. But we'll see. We'll see by week 3 and week 4. We'll know whether or not this was an exercise in futility, or we'll know if this is the budding of a career that was promising 2 years ago with Kelly.
What I'll do instead is shift my focus to the defensive side of the ball, where a year ago we were oh so confident that they were going to be the strength of this unit while a redshirt freshman quarterback figured out how to play and run Jimbo's offense. And what we got instead was a defense that stunk, and Florida State began 3-2 and couldn't make stops. I'm going to guess that the offense is pretty good right now and will be fine because they've got a loaded backfield. They've got an experienced quarterback who proved his mettle a year ago, and they've got 3 wide receivers, all of whom are more explosive than what we armed ourselves with a year ago, plus an experienced tight end. So if we get a decent level of play, a modicum of improvement at center, and that group is merely average to slightly above average, I think you can survive the season, put yourself in a position to win the ACC and maybe make the playoff. Of course, we want them to be good to great in order to win a national championship. So obviously the scale by which you judge them, every fan's a little different. Right now, we need them to be good enough not to get that poor kid killed again, which occurred all of last year, which was so frustrating. But defensively, I'm not at all worried about that secondary with the return of Derwin James. And again, body after body, kid after kid that he talks about seems to be impressing, including true freshmen. It's exciting what they've got on the back end. Linebacker, you wonder about linebacker, and that's why I turned my attention there. Matthew Thomas was not in this scrimmage. He has missed time. Coach Fisher has been asked about it specifically. His answer is that everybody who missed practice or missed the scrimmage up to this point that we haven't already announced is gone for some reason or another will be back by this week. All right, well, if that's the case, you got nothing to worry about there. You got all hands on deck and everything's running smoothly, but there is, of course, the whisper that Matthew Thomas has some issues off the field. They don't have to do with the law, but rather academics. I don't know what's true and what's not true. I just know that Jimbo Fisher has said that he's out sick and that he should be good to go this upcoming week. So that's the area where I'm holding my breath. Is this is a money year for Matthew Thomas. This is a key component, I think, to that group at linebacker because they don't have a ton of them, and he was playing so well at the end of last year. I don't know how great he's ever going to be, but he's had some experience now, and he was playing well, and they don't have a lot to back his specific position.
Yeah, when you were listing those points, it's the last one. It's that he was showing flashes
of
the
he was
player,
showing signs of being good.
The blue-chip player that we thought he was on signing day.
Yeah,
and then even in his freshman year, I mean, we used him right away as a rush end. And then he got hurt in the BC game, and that was the end of his freshman season. But he was finding reps as a true freshman.
Oh, he was a 5-star kid. Everybody couldn't wait,
On the team of teams here, the 2013 team. He was a big piece to that in the first month. And then, obviously Christian Jones gets flexed out there, and we go on and we kick ass and we take names even without him. But you were thinking towards the end of the year and the Michigan game, that one play, it kind of captures what we were thinking about him for the last 3 or 4 games, which was, whoa, he looks like he gets it. He's playing with instinct, and then the athletic skills that we already knew were there are starting to take over. I feel a little bit better about our depth at linebacker than I did this time last year. So if it's the worst, I don't like it at all. But I don't feel like it's
margin
critical.
for error begins to dwindle is the only problem. There are guys behind him that can play. People think Dontavius Jackson is his replacement. That's not true. He's a bigger body and more of an inside guy. It will probably be Emmett that takes up a lot of those reps if that happens.
Yeah, and Brown too.
But the problem is, again, you lose your margin for error, and I don't like areas of concern where the numbers aren't great.
I totally agree, and then I also think, though, a solution could potentially be you put one linebacker out there and Derwin comes up into the box for certain sets because you have so many defensive backs and you play slashers anyway.
Well, and you've got a few that can be really physical. Trey Marshall is very, very physical. Obviously, Derwin is a freak.
Right. If you're in a dime set with Trey Marshall and Derwin James in the box, I mean, that's as physical as any linebacker group would be anyway. You just wish that, Derwin could play anywhere we needed him to and wanted him to play rather than we had to assign him a certain position because, Matthew Thomas is not available. We'll see. Again, it's just that you're not opening the season here, and everybody knows this. We've talked about Alabama every which way to Sunday.
You're not facing Lenore Ryan.
No,
Sure.
It's not Louisiana Monroe followed by Charleston Southern. Then you're playing Miami here in Tallahassee. So for me, the urgency lies with the offensive line, and we'll find out very quickly. But at the same time, I can understand it when you say, rightfully so, we thought the number one concern was going to be X in 2016.
It turned out to be Y.
It was Y.
Yeah.
So the hard part is
reminding yourself of that, though. Reminding yourself that we thought it to be one way at this time last year, and instead it was totally another. And so let's just keep that in mind as the battle continues. We'll keep watching on a daily basis for his reports. And, I don't know what to tell you other than that because we're not allowed to watch practice. So short of what we get from sources and what you get out of his mouth, it's hard to get a real good read there. Florida has to suspend 7 different players for their game against Michigan. That doesn't sound like something you'd like to have happen right before you play a non-conference game against Michigan to start the year. 3:30 on ABC out there in Arlington, Texas. Jim McElwain saying that a small group of players made some choices that are extremely disappointing. Of course, one of those players is a player that's made decisions that are extremely disappointing in the past in the form of wide receiver Antonio Callaway, who's their best playmaker. He will be suspended. Callaway had 54 catches, 721 yards, 3 touchdowns last year. Really talented guy that's run afoul of the law and had some issues off the field 3 different times now. That guy gets a lot of lives within that Florida program, but he's going to miss the Michigan game.
Boy, if this is what happens when you play a non-conference regular season game
out of the state of Florida, yeah.
They might want to wait another 26 years. Yeah. Maybe they should wait.
Well, the last time it happened, it didn't go well for him either. So
yeah, maybe they should wait until 2043 before the next one.
Isn't that an ass kicking against Syracuse, I believe, or something like that?
Probably.
All those years ago, yeah. I think it was. And the other big news of the weekend was preseason football, where you're holding your breath that none of your starters that are out there for all of 2 to 3 to maybe 10 plays don't get hurt. But Roberto Aguayo played. He sucked, and he got cut because of it. He is told to have a good day by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's it. A year removed from being a second-round draft pick as a kicker, which we first guessed was a bad move, turned out to be so. And then he is picked up by the Chicago Bears. Curious indeed. Perhaps the change of scenery will do him well. And it could actually happen, despite the winds and the cold weather and everything else you associate with Chicago. When things start to go downhill for you in your present location, and the weight of the world feels like it's upon your shoulders, and you're thinking about anything other than just kicking a football, I imagine that it gets hard to kind of resurrect your career and shift the direction that it's going in. There's no way to ignore the pressures that begin to mount as a kicker. It's akin to a guy having the shanks off the tee box. You've seen guys. It's funny how closely tied kickers will note their action is obviously a little bit different in that they're kicking and not hitting a golf ball with the rhythm of a tee shot. And there have been some of the world's greatest golfers, Ian Baker Finch, for example, who's on the weekend call as a color analyst, win a major, and then lose it. Lose it off the tee, can't get it together, Goodbye. Done dealing. It happens. And for Roberto, he gets drafted that high. He goes into camp. He immediately begins to struggle. He misses preseason kicks. The coverage and the heightened scrutiny for a kicker drafted in the second round proves to be exactly what you thought it would be. Pretty weighty. And it's talked about. It creates a buzz, and the pressure grows with each kick that you have to make at some point in order to right the ship. And every time he struggled even a little bit to the magnitude that this got talked about, I think it had to grow in weight on a daily basis. And, you know, I was told, and reports out of camp were that he was actually beating Nick Folk in practice leading up to this first preseason game on Friday night against Cincinnati. But, you know, practice is practice, man.
It is.
It's just practice.
I thought the funniest thing to come out of camp, because you have to laugh at it after a while, was last week they asked Jason Light about this, and he said, well, I mean, our solution may not be on our roster. You know, our actual kicker on our first game day may not actually be on our roster yet. We don't know. Woo, you talk about, a vote of confidence or zero confidence. That's a hell of a quote.
Well, and here's the thing about it with kickers is why I wouldn't do it, even though it's worked out with Sebastian Janikowski, and that's great. I still think it was a dumb pick, but it worked out for him. I think that when you put that much pressure on a guy, I mean, kickers are head cases anyhow. I mean, it's a difficult deal to be sitting on the sideline, in some cases, an entire game, and really have no influence. And these guys are out there killing each other. And you get thrown out there from 50 yards, 44 yards to win a game down by 2. I mean, your whole existence is one kick in that moment. I mean, a few of those go south for you, and you can really, really find it a little bit too much to overcome. Now, with him, heightened expectations. He misses some kicks. Then he misses some extra points. Starts to get a little crazy. Starts shifting every one of his extra points to the right hash. And the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, this is where you won't know the answer to whether or not Aguayo's gotten over it until he climbs the ladder, makes a roster, is kicking on a Sunday, and he's got a big kick from 46 yards.
And makes it.
Yeah, that's it. Because everything else, right now, there are no expectations in Chicago. If he makes the team, it's going to be a surprise. So he doesn't feel the weight. It's a completely clean slate. So let's say he kicks well. But then, it's Soldier Field. They're playing the Lions in week 3, and here it is. They got a chance to win the ball game.
Nobody on earth listening to this right now thinks he's making that kick. I'm telling you right now, nobody believes he makes that kick. I'll root for him, though. He was a delightful kid to cover and kind of fun.
And now Bryce's ears are saved this football season.
Well, did you see all the tweets come my way after he missed that extra point? I'm like, guys, it's preseason. I'm not dropping F-bombs over a preseason missed extra point. If anything, I went, well, that's the end of him. I kind of was relieved.
Oh, yeah, you texted me that much.
I did.
I think I would cut him tonight.
Well, I did. I texted you that immediately, didn't I?
Well, I tend to agree.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of Pennzoil High Mileage Motor Oil and a MicroGuard filter for the price of Pennzoil Conventional, just $24.99. Plus, get a $5 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate. Save big with Pennzoil oil and filter specials at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next, anytime, anywhere, with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Don't let Tallahassee's hot summers get you down. Barano Heating and Air Conditioning can help in case of a breakdown, day or night. Their certified technicians can get you up and running in no time. Turn to the experts at Carrier and at Barano Heating and Air. Call 580-4029 or visit baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Now's the time for you to go and sign up for the goodness. WarChant.com with a big-time special, the ultimate package for you die-hard Seminole fans. Sign up for an annual WarChant.com subscription, and this is what you're going to get. But you got to do it before midnight tonight. Boom! $25 gift certificate to Garnet and Gold. Members-only WarChant.com T-shirts shipped free to your home. Members-only 16-ounce stainless steel WarChant.com tumbler. 6 free months added to your annual subscription. Yeah. 10% discount to purchases made at Garnet and Gold, either online or in the store. Greatly reduced, by the way, throughout the site. Free WarChant.com items at promotional events to boot. New subscribers sign up for an annual WarChant subscription and use the promo code Knowles2017. That's Knowles2017. If you previously canceled or lapsed the subscriber or subscription that you had, you should sign back in to your account and use the link to resubscribe and get in on the kickoff special promo. Once the items are gone, the promotion ends, so don't be a deadbeat. Get on it, kids.
You got till midnight.
Boom.
That's not long.
Midnight.
Go home, log on to your device, and get this done. Annual subscriptions. That's what they want. Not that monthly crap. Let's go. Annuals. We want some annuals.
Oh, man. Hey, by the way, I wanted to give credit. I was doing some research over the weekend and was just reading a bunch of stuff and kind of capping 2016. And as I was reading a lot of different places, and I'm one to give credit wherever credit's due, man. That's the way it works. If you wrote something that interests me and I'm going to take from it or look at it or read it and use it for context or any other reason on the Jeff Cameron Show, then I got to give you credit. Brendan Sonnone wrote a good piece on the defense from a year ago, which we've been so concerned about, right? And the different formations that they lined up in at any given time. And I was looking back at the god-awful way this defense started, and there were some numbers in there that really blew you away. They allowed 7.44 yards per play against Ole Miss. And then think about this: South Florida, Louisville, and UNC part of that grouping, but only 4.2 yards per play the remainder of the season. So if you got rid of those games against the likes of Louisville, USF, UNC, and Ole Miss, but you can't get rid of them, then you had a fine campaign. And basically the gist of the article was talking about how often they went to a 4-2-5 and kind of simplified things.
That's the base, man. And yes, they did simplify things. If you recall what the defensive players said after the North Carolina game, you know, the rules, the principles, the matching, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Out the window. You got a couple of things to consider.
You find out how big a deal it is to have a dynamic star.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean star like he's in star player. I mean the position star. You got to have a guy that can do a lot of things.
He's in conflict at all times, and he's got to make the right choices.
Well, he's got to be able to come up and hit you, and he's got to be able to cover in space.
But then you also have to have somebody who can relay the signals in, too, in a timely fashion, and that's been a problem here. Hell, that was a problem with Pruitt against Auburn. You know,
well,
I think we forget about that.
Well, yeah, but I also think, and that was weird, by the way, but I also think that stems from the change in the way college offenses are run in terms of spread, tempo, and all that stuff. And
well, if you're looking at that, though, there's a pretty clear line of delineation. When we go, I mean, this is something we said as we were covering it last year, week to week. Once the offenses became a little simpler, I mean, Clemson's going to be the outlier in that grouping of you know, column A and column B. But as the offenses became more pro-style and they were a little bit slower in nature and the athletes weren't as good, you know what I mean? All of a sudden our numbers did get better. Yeah. So how much did we really learn from year to year? And the odd part is Alabama and its offense can, you know, contain more principles like the ones we saw in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
More than it has in years past.
Having Derwin James back is a huge impact on this defense. Can't be understated. And Trey Marshall, too, remember in the Clemson game where they did end up averaging, Clemson did more yards per play just by a hair than they did on their average in the season offensively. But that all stemmed from, I mean, there's a stretch of that game where Florida State's dominating Clemson's offense, and it's while Trey's on the field, and then once he's booted, the game changes again. But having him be able to man that role, Derwin James back, and then settling on a higher percentage of plays running that base, when you have better players, you don't have to complicate things.
There's no doubt, too, that the adjustments made, you know, in that Clemson game were huge because they go right down the field and they score a couple of times. And you think, oh, boy, here it is again. They're going to do this to us in our own house. And it looked like, you know, 14 to 21 points was going to be the standard for Clemson for all four quarters. But then whatever adjustments we make were good adjustments because we had them down and had them by the throat when Dalvin, it looked like, was going to break a 40 to 50-yard run every time he touched the ball for a good stretch of that game. And, of course, the famous clipping call. That's one that we'll remember forever. Clemson fans have already forgotten about on their way to a national title. They're like, oh, yeah, well, that was a good call, I suppose. But, you know, the key is, again, how complex is the defense this year? You know, we did simplify things for the back half of last season, but now that you've got better players out there and smarter players, Derwin James is, you know, ready to claim at any turn that he learned so much about what the coaching staff does and why certain calls come in certain situations. So are you returning to a more complex look on defense, or are you sticking with the simple principles and letting your athletes be athletes? Which one is the answer?
We won't know, but we do know. Well, we won't know this week. We will know soon enough, as that game now feels like it's right on top of you, which is why any nugget you get out of camp on a daily basis feels like something to live and die with, even though that's not true. It should be interesting to see if, in fact, they get back all of the players that Jimbo Fisher said on Sunday evening, of course, the scrimmage post-scrimmage press conference that they are supposed to get back. I think everybody wants one thing to be true more than anything else, and that is that Florida State goes into this season opener as healthy as possible. This is what everybody wishes for, and then we'll let the chips fall where they may. Because to me, the Alabama game, again, is a big game, and it certainly hastens the need to have your ducks in a row. But it's a non-conference game that you can survive if you don't play well and or if you do play well and lose because Alabama's got better players. If it happens, it happens. You nod your cap, you move on. But you got to be right. And people like Matthew Thomas and these other guys that are emerging now and that we're counting on have to be healthy and eligible and ready to go if you're going to survive the stretch of 3 games to start this season. It's not just Alabama. It's the 2 conference games as well. And if you go 2-1 in those 3, you could probably and likely be a playoff team and an ACC champion.
You think this defensive line is going to be dominant this year?
So Landon Dickerson said that on a daily basis he's not worried about facing Alabama's defensive line. And that wasn't to besmirch Alabama's defensive line. It wasn't that he didn't respect Alabama's defensive line, and he made that point on Media Day. It's that he believes their offensive line, whoever that group of 5 is going to be, is facing a better defensive line than they're going to face against Alabama. A deeper, better, more talented defensive line is here in Tallahassee than the one that awaits them in Atlanta when they take on Alabama. I don't know if that's true, but I know that the depth of talent, and if in fact they are healthy, unlike the start of last year when they were not, is there for that statement to be true. It is there. Do I think they'll be dominant? Yes. What kind of dominant? Defining our terms as to what a dominant defense looks like these days is a moving target. It is changing at all times. Alabama had a dominant defense a year ago that Clemson absolutely lit up, and that I believe Ole Miss did the same. You see these kinds of games with certain styles of offense against any defense, no matter how talented, how fast, how big, how strong these days, because the rules in college football allow for it in a way the NFL does not. So I think we would have to have a sit-down and kind of define our terms as to what you mean by dominant.
Well, the reason I ask is I was just thinking about how it's going to be constructed along the front line. And I remember talking to Brian Burns on Media Day, and he was a broken record about this point. He has to be better against the run. Clearly, he wants to be a 3-down dominant player rather than a dominant pass rusher. And he's already a really good pass rusher. You have close to 10 sacks. I don't care when you get them. As a true freshman, and at his size, too, that says that you have such agility and quickness to make up for the lack of true size and strength. And he's gotten bigger this year, but he's still by no means a big defensive end. He doesn't look like Josh Sweat or DeMarcus Walker. But the weapon that was DeMarcus Walker, I mean, that's so tough to replace. Derek Nottie being healthy for a full season may affect the pocket in a way that makes everybody stronger. But I think that has to be the case because when you lined up DeMarcus on the inside on 3rd and obvious situations, game over. Snap the ball. He's already in the backfield. It's too late. He took over stretches of games last year.
Well, he took over the game against Ole Miss in the second half and almost single-handedly won the game for Florida State. That coupled with the toughness that the young redshirt freshman quarterback showed in DeAndre Francois. But I will say they have weapons now, again, with Derwin being able to rush the passer if you need him to, Burns emerging as a superstar, Sweat's in a money year.
They love what they get out of Pugh.
Well, and I was just about to bring Pugh up. Now, if he's all that they think he's going to be, they've got versatility, they've got size, they've got speed, they've got depth. I don't know what Kendo gives them in terms of a number of reps, but he's a talent as well. Yeah, man, that interior is filled with big, big bodies and a depth of big, big body. You can really dominate and dictate terms up front this year. And that's, again, why I think more than anybody else, whether it's Rick Trickett, whose name usually pops up when we talk about areas of concern with the offensive line and the frustration that's accompanied with that. But to me, it's quite clearly Charles Kelly that's under the brightest of the spotlights and the one that has to see his group step forward and play well. But there is reason, again, to believe that maybe, just maybe, they carry over the momentum from last year. All that experience, 14 different guys that have played in games and started games on that defense now that are coming back, along with arguably the most dynamic player in college football, a depth of size in the interior, which shuts down the run, forces you to the outside, again, where you have able bodies and skill. Now, let's see if Matthew Thomas, who's a sideline-to-sideline guy, is in that group. That's why I think he's key, too. There's no excuse. They're loaded in the secondary. They've got versatility in the secondary. They've got talent, speed. Some say the likes they haven't had here. So it is set up to happen, and if it doesn't happen, then he's going to be looking for a job.
Okay, to test the theory just really quickly, because it's something we footnote, but I don't know that we've fully revisited. Go ahead.
But I was just going to say, also remember the kinds of offenses that Florida State had to face last year with the elite level of quarterback play. They're not going to be getting that this year. Now that you do have to face Louisville, obviously, with the returning Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. But last year, I mean, when you look at the North Carolina game, and then obviously the experience and talent, even though I don't consider him an elite player, Miami, Brad Kaya, they obviously they had it against Ole Miss with Kelly. A lot of talent at the quarterback position in abundance last year.
Yeah, and Hurts isn't exactly somebody who's going to go progression to progression, but
I'd make him do so.
He's lightning fast, though, to the edge.
He's also big.
You can be in the right place, even with our athletes.
There's your matchup. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, and he can still get to the corner and turn a play that's completely covered into a 4-yard gain. We talk about that with Dalvin, and that's what we're going to miss this year is that, all of a sudden a play that was going to be 2nd and 13 for most any other back and turn into 2nd and 7 might be 2nd and 13 again. That's one thing that Hurts can do on a broken play is you can have everything done right. You can even stay home on the backside of a play, and he's just going to out-quick you to the edge.
Well,
and all of a sudden you're looking at they're ahead of the chains for a couple of plays where
they
should not be.
You'll live with it, though, Tom, because the thing was about last year's defense miscues in the 3-2 start to the season was the fact that guys were nowhere on their screen if you were watching at home, that people didn't know where to be. Receivers ran free. There were guys that could have waited for days and called a fair catch on some of those throws. That can't happen. If a player is just dynamic, is spectacular, and takes advantage of the rules, his size and speed, et cetera, and talent around him, and they beat you because of it, then it happens. There aren't too many people that are going to line up and be Alabama. The next guy at quarterback you're going to see that has any chance to look similar is against Louisville here. That's okay. You live with it. It's the confusion and the guys nowhere to be found that you really can't tolerate.
Nobody wants to hear about this secondary reason at all when you have people not lined up in the right area, wide open pastures for people to run through.
No.
And then you have a loafing problem against North Carolina. And that wasn't really the first one. It was just, the big one that everybody saw. But, just for a moment, if we can put that aside, how much do you put on the fact that Noddy wasn't healthy and Sweat wasn't healthy?
Sweat, Noddy,
Derwin James is out. Nate Andrews can't lift his arm over his head.
You just named 4 people that are back.
We talked about the Charles Kelly thing the rightful way that we should have, because you got an effort problem and people can't line up.
You can't excuse that.
And then the players say we've simplified things. So you've had 3 problems there. But just shelving that for a minute, how big of a deal was it to have that many dudes hurt at that key point in the season?
Well, the biggest being Noddy to me. I know people see Derwin James. I think you could have survived that. You could. I mean, it's not good, but you had some guys that you could have survived that. You wouldn't have been as dynamic, of course, and you wouldn't have had the versatility that you want, but you could have survived it because they have a depth of speed and talent there. And Noddy in the middle was the whole thing, right? We thought he was going to be a dominant force. He was on roller skates to start the year, and that was our first chance to kind of raise an eyebrow where we thought, what in the world? This was a guy who they couldn't block in camp, who Jimbo couldn't stop talking about. We go out there, and right off the bat, everybody's like, well, Noddy ain't doing a damn thing. People are just pushing him every which way to Sunday.
If he was that dominant in camp, how bad's our offensive line?
Right. Yeah. So it was odd. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Rivalry commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Rivalry, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, the 6th annual Listener Appreciation Party, also known as Libations Friday Fest. We'll see you there.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You are a mighty fortress of supreme knowledge. Progressive Direct has not only revealed their rates, but those of their competitors. If you were any more in the know, you would be drowning in, the know.
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates, because knowledge is power. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, because we're the
Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers.
Hey, watch
Houston Oilers all the way.
Jeff, I will fight you.
Houston Oilers. That's their song. Why
No. First of all, they never went to a Super Bowl. It's our song. We're the only undefeated team.
Oh,
we're the only one that takes the ball goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
You and the rest of Miami holding on to the past, my friend. But you know what? September the 10th, it's on. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Not a chance. You know what that first loss feels like every year because you've never gone undefeated.
Houston Oilers.
All right, let's go. Dry-aged ribeye steaks. What do you say?
I'm in. Let's bet.
It's on.
Is Bumpa's going to be open yet?
Shh, Jeff. They don't know about that one yet.
It's coming soon. All right, Bucks.
Let's go fish.
Good times. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
August 14th, 1982. Pete Rose recorded his 12,365th at-bat in the MLB, moving him ahead of Hank Aaron and into first place on the league's all-time at-bats list. He would finish his career with 14,053, which still stands today. Rose also holds the record for hits, most singles, and most games played, but is not in the Hall of Fame.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott set to officially appeal his 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy tomorrow. The Star-Telegram reporting Elliott's reps will argue the testimony given by his ex-girlfriend to the league was dishonest and that she made a number of threats to ruin his career. Injured Jags running back Leonard Fournette and receiver Marquise Lee won't play in Thursday's preseason game. Falcons running back Devontae Freeman is in the concussion protocol. He's been ruled out for Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Tennis, Roger Federer with a back injury will not play in the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. He said his priority is to be fit before the U.S. Open starts in 2 weeks.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Opportunity awaits you. About 6 hours left to do so. Go to warchant.com and sign up for the ultimate package. The warchant.com subscription to get yourself ready for the season. A $25 gift certificate awaits you to Garnet and Gold. I'll give you a code for that when you sign up. A members-only warchant.com t-shirt shipped free to your house. A members-only 16-ounce stainless steel warchant.com tumbler, which will be shipped to your home as well. 6 free months added to your annual subscription if you already got one. A 10% discount to purchases made at Garnet and Gold online as well. Free warchant.com. .kind.
That's good to know.
Items at promotional events. New subscribers sign up for the annual Warchant subscription and use the promo code Knowles2017. Knowles2017. Previously canceled or lapsed subscribers. Sign back in, man. Get on the ball. Stop being a deadbeat. Enter your account information and use the link to resubscribe and get the kickoff special promo sent your way as well.
Yeah, I like them.
That's a good thing. Time for probables. Cue it up, my man.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
The professional slight delay before my man. This is how an offense plays to a defense and a defense plays to an offense. I saw the concerned look, knew you needed about 2 seconds.
I didn't know that you were going to go straight there. But thankfully, that's why I also did the prep. I was on the right page for it. So all I had to do was just move the mouse.
You knew at some point we were going to get to it, right?
Well, yeah, I just didn't know it was going to be right out the read. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I'm saying. There's nothing better than to watch Aroldis Chapman, a wife-beater piece of crap, come in last night in front of the frenzied Yankee fans, so sure they had a win wrapped up, strike out the first batter in 3 pitches, promptly give up an opposite field home run with a 103-mile-per-hour fastball up around the eyes that is told, suck this. Tie ball game.
Goodness.
10th inning followed up with, you lose, Yankees.
It's appropriate you said that with Frank Sinatra in the background.
That's right.
That was the fastest pitch turnaround for a home run since 2009.
I saw that. I was lying in bed watching the game, just about to turn off the light when I said, let's see the 9th inning, hun. And then that home run happened, and I went, you can go to hell, Chapman. You're a piece of garbage. Indians, Red Sox, Trevor Bauer, Doug Fister. Hey, now. Mets, Yankees, Rafael Montero, Luis Cessa.
Oh, boy. That's got 9-6 written all over it.
Rays, Jays, Jake Odorizzi, Nick Tepesh. Sounds like a guy who likes to dance, doesn't he? Giants, Marlins, Ty Blatch, Adam Conley. Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs. I actually made myself laugh on that one. Jose Quintana will pitch for the Cubs. Tigers, Rangers, Michael Fulmer, Martin Perez. We've got Braves, Rockies, Julio Teheran, Chad Bettis.
Have you seen the latest adaptation of The Producers? They went and got Tepesh.
I knew he was born to do that. Astros, D-backs, Colin McHugh and Zach Greinke. Royals, A's, Jake Junis, Jarrell Cotton. Orioles, Mariners, we got Kevin Gausman and Giovanni Gallardo. Phillies, Padres, Jared Eichhoff and Travis Wood. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the boat.
The summer wind.
The summer wind. You know what I did twice over the weekend as we wrap up the show? Twice I did this. Now, what are we doing, Cameron? Great, you're 46. No. What I'm telling you is what I did twice over the weekend is go for a run.
Really?
My legs are hurting.
You're getting out ahead of the heavy season.
I am. I feel bad that I've been a lazy piece of garbage in the last month. I was, my man Bill Fredericks was keeping me in shape. Frequency XP, I was doing that. And then he's moved locations, which is great for him. He's got a better facility and a bigger place, and it's all that. But it's a little ways from my place, so I'll have to do his workouts at the house, and I just haven't incorporated that yet, which is very frustrating because it's easy to fall into that category. But I also thought, we need to start getting our jog on because it helps focus the mind a little bit. So I did, and I took my dogs out because it's good to get them running too. Man, today I woke up, my legs were like, what is wrong with you? Why are we running up hills? You got to ease us into this thing.
I can appreciate your gangster. You're getting ahead of the heavy season.
I'm trying to get ahead of the heavy season because I really feel like I'm going to engage in the heavy season.
Well, that's because you got Saturdays and Sundays,
I got Saturdays and Sundays, and I'm invested in a way that I haven't been in a while for my Sundays.
Yeah, time was, for a good 8-10 years, you didn't have to care about Sundays with Tampa. You didn't have to care at all.
Well, I had to care enough to know what was happening, at least to talk about the NFL as a whole, but that was it. There was no real passion involved in that in the way that would cause you to have a beverage or two while your team played.
So you're going to get those Jimbo interviews at 9 a.m. on Sundays instead now?
I'm going to see Jimbo on Wednesday. Coach, I look forward to it if you're listening. And I'll just say that I'm going to see him this Wednesday. We'll see if I can get him to turn it around. I'll be like, Coach, what do you say we do Sundays at 10 a.m.? Why don't we have brunch together? I'll bring my iPhone. I'll set it down right there at the table. You and I will have a lengthy discussion about all that was on Saturday. You'll enjoy whatever it is you enjoy for breakfast. I imagine you like a well-done sausage of some kind with some grits to boot. And I'm right there with you, although I don't eat the sausage. But I'll get some eggs. I like eggs. We'll do that. And then from there, you go on and do your thing, and I'll go watch football. You make my life a little easier, Coach. What say you?
Hey, this crepe's delicious, Cameron.
I agree. I like
this crepe's
Coach.
Delicious.
What if I just sound like him? This crepe is delicious, Cameron. I agree, Jimbo. And then we don't say much. We just nod our heads as we sip our coffee.
And for some reason, Marty Smith's there. It's a great idea, boys.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Well, three of us, all the time, eating grits and eggs.
Did you see what Elliott Sadler said this weekend?
I didn't. I never do.
He said the truth as he usually does.
That's what he does, speaking truth to power of the people of NASCAR. Good work out of you. Great job, Matthew. And to all who called and or listened, be well. Thank you for doing so. We will talk to you tomorrow.